back again, the Couch Company podcast. My name is John, and with me as always, with the first time ever viewing a classic film, Top Gun, which we will get into, Tyler.
Oh, I thought you meant like all classic film. Hi, John. I thought you meant all classic films.
You did say something along the lines of, yeah, I think Top Gun's like, that was the one that I didn't see that I really should have.
So I did say that. We watched it last night.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. And then I immediately was like, I don't think I ever watched Footloose. And I was like, that's probably a classic one, right?
Yeah, I'd probably say
one of my friends mentioned it. She actually said her favorite movie was Dirty Dancing. And I was like, I never saw it. But I was actually thinking about Footloose.
Oh, yeah.
They're basically the same thing.
Pretty much.
What is Dirty Dancing? Do you know?
Not really.
That's not the one with the ghost pottery, right?
The ghost? I have no idea, dude.
That's another one. Like
Dirty Dancing, I may have watched it like once. It's like, I don't even know.
Does it count if I watched a play of Footloose?
Musical?
Yeah.
No.
So I have to watch like the movie?
Probably. I mean, it's the same as like, I know we were talking about Grease as well.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So I would consider that the same thing. Like I guess you get the gist of it.
You get the
gist of it, but it's not the same.
It's not. Like you don't understand why it's such a beloved.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually did.
I don't think I'm ever gonna watch Footloose.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
We did Footloose for my senior year in high school. That was our musical or whatever.
I'm sure my sister was in it. She would have to be in it. I don't know why else I would ever go see a play of Footloose.
Oh yeah. I was like shocked that you yeah. I remember I saw it too, but that's because like all my friends were doing the musical. But enough about dancing.
All right.
We're going to get into our top 5 as always here. We're not going to waste any time, which we're very excellent at, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a quick one, easy one.
Probably a quick one. Tyler, why don't you tell us what we're going to be ranking today?
So we had a request a couple weeks ago, finally getting around to it. Someone wanted to hear our top 5 fruits.
Yeah. And anyone
pretty
who knows
easy.
me, pretty easy.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate fruit.
Makes it even easier.
It makes it very easy because here's the thing. The Couch Company podcast, we will rank anything.
Mm-hmm.
We do not discriminate against any top 5 list.
Yes.
So even if I fucking hate the topic, we will rank it and it will be accurate.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what makes it so special.
Absolutely.
It's very
because we're going to tell you what the best fruit is, having never eaten it myself.
So you don't eat fruit?
No.
Just adult. Like what? Why? What did fruit? So you gave us a reason on why you didn't like peppers, which is the only reason why banana peppers are not on our top 5 pizza toppings.
Yeah,
which I respect, of course. But
I actually get more complaints about bacon not being on there.
And I think bacon's it's a dual.
Yeah,
we don't go there.
We're not going to get down that road again.
What did fruit do to you? How did they?
I don't know. It's just something about fruit. I think I don't have a better reason for this one. Like the pepper one's a legitimate reason. This one is just I don't know. Like for me, I like vegetables, most vegetables I would say, but for fruit, it was just like never my thing. I think what happened is, as a kid, I would eat like candy, so I got real used to artificial flavored fruit. And then when you get around to the real thing, you're like, oh man, this doesn't taste like it came off a conveyor belt. Like, what is this?
So that's actually a good thing you bring up. Then, for us rating fruit, what are the criteria? Because we definitely dove into that on certain things, but I feel like we gotten a little lax. Like on the alphabet one, we didn't really have set things that we're judging. We're judging.
It was a very serious.
I still
study.
maintain that's a great one.
Absolutely. I get a lot of shit on not having A on there, but I think we made our stance pretty clear on how we feel about the letter A.
Yeah, screw it.
Exactly. No. Anyways,
so for fruit, what are some of the prerequisites? Especially because you don't like fruit, I want you to have some sort of input or opinion on it. Because if you just hate them all, I don't want to run away with this list.
There's some that I will eat. So I know that you were talking to me previously about if artificial flavors will count into a score.
Fruit flavor.
I would
say
no. I think we're sticking to the actual fruit itself, right? I don't think that.
I could go either way. I have the flavor itself might tweak.
Could be a tiebreaker.
It might tweak some of my thing, but I think largely.
I think they're so different that it's really not.
It could be
fair to the fruit. Like when I taste an artificial cherry flavor, it's just totally different. You know what I mean?
No, I mean I get that,
but yeah, we can try to factor it in.
For instance, like cherries, I could take them or leave them largely.
Yeah,
but if you're talking like Pop-Tarts,
right?
I could go for some cherry Pop-Tarts.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm right there with you. So
or toaster
Toaster strudels.
No, it's toasted Pop-Ups. We were at
my
Five Below,
God.
and it was like I was like, I wonder if they have Pop-Tarts here. And it was like toasted Pop-Ums or Pop-Ups
under
or something
$5.
like that.
Of course, it's going to be like.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Five Below. It was Dollar Tree, so it was a box.
It was $1. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I don't do that. Like all the Cheez-It boxes, you could see, and like half of them were like discolored, like they've been sitting out in the sun for like all faded. And I'm like, okay, maybe we don't
Tyler,
get food
nothing's
in
$1
dollar
anymore,
store.
man. Big chickens aren't $1 anymore.
I know, but everything in that store is.
And you're going to pay the price for it later.
Yeah, well, we didn't. You're
not going to pay cash for it. You're not going to pay a lot of money for it, but you're going to pay it a different way.
I wanted something to snack on, like really. Like I was looking for combos, and they just didn't have any.
Is combos your go-to? So I remember there was like this guy who would do interviews for like NFL players or something, like a locker room, and the go-to was always like stop at a gas station on a road trip.
Yep.
Drink and a snack. Like, what's your go-to when that
for a road trip?
Yeah,
it would definitely be combos. Maybe pretzels, but pretzels tend to like if I eat too many of them, my stomach just kills me.
Combos or pretzels?
So I would do combos. Yeah. I wouldn't. So if I'm on a road trip, this
okay. So there's a lot of factors here. Like, should we say we're driving or a passenger? Probably driving in your case. You usually drive.
I would say either or. It doesn't really matter.
Well, absolutely matter because. My first thought is Doritos, but if I'm driving, no fucking way.
See, I don't like Doritos, and I'm sure we're going to do top 5 snack foods at some point. So I don't want to get too far into that.
Into it, but
Doritos I could take or leave. Combos are and specifically the cracker ones. As a kid growing up, I always like pretzel ones more.
Interesting.
But if I do the pizza flavored crackers.
So they're not they're not the rolls.
They're the rolls, but they're made of a cracker material.
I had those.
The pretzel versions.
Yeah, in Marching Man we used to get those.
Yeah. Now if you're going pretzel, just give me the classic cheese and pretzel.
Yeah, right.
And I'm good.
Okay. And then what about drink?
Drink I might just kind of go with water. Honestly,
really?
Yeah. Like I could go, however, maybe like a Gatorade Zero or something like that.
I think I'm there with you now. Like I don't really do soda anymore as I've grown.
Yeah, nothing I would never do anything carbonated.
Yeah, like back in the day, it would probably be Doritos Mountain Dew. Like I'm about to
naturally,
fucking go
like
to a Call of Duty tournament.
Just start slaying on the COD.
These days, it might be a bottle of water if I'm driving.
And a pack of carrot sticks.
No.
Some fruit cups.
Nice Lunchables. Dude, Lunchables are a scam, by the way. They're like $8.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Well, now I understand why my mom never bought me Lunchables.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
She was like, no,
I remember.
I will make you some ham and cheese sandwiches.
And you're like, dude, why, man?
Yeah.
What genius marketing. But I digress. We will get back to the list here. Top 5 fruits. So your criteria, is it just taste? Is it, I don't know. What do you kind of look for in a fruit?
I mean, when I was making my list, so I do have a plethora of fruits that I would like to talk through.
Yes. I was going to say, why don't you kind of lead this a little more since you're more of the expert.
Yeah, sure. So whenever I'm looking at fruits, there are a few things. Obviously, taste is going to be just like the number one thing.
Of course.
I think ease of edibility.
Yeah, that's there.
How quickly can I eat it? And that's the same thing for all fruits in dinner. Like, even if I make a dinner, right? Like, I'm not going to make a dinner unless I can create it and craft it within like 10 minutes. Because then I'm like, okay, is the nutrition value worth the cost of so
it's a ratio for sure. You have to calculate.
It's lower than taste, obviously, but there is that kind of.
What about juiciness? Is that going to taste?
Not so much.
Plumpness, how plump it is.
I put all of that into my ability to eat it, right? So if it's going to be like messy to eat, or if it takes a long time to unpeel it or prepare it to eat, artichoke, sure. That's the kind of stuff where it might drop a little bit on my list because I want something that's quick, easy, tasty, that sort of thing. And then I think it's just general flavor of like, I understand we're talking about the fruits themselves, but for me anyway, there's a lot of overlap on just general flavors of things. So if you're talking like, oh, what's your favorite like soda drink or flavor of Jolly Rancher, there is a correlation between that and
you find yourself lining up with
not 100%, but I think,
a lot of the
I think
time.
there's overlap.
Okay, fair. So my friend was talking about this, and he was saying something along the lines that I guess all vegetables are fruits or some shit. Is that true or
no?
It's not true?
No. So it depends on. Now we can get super
Was he being very picky with? Is like the
so
definition?
Technically, and I don't have anything in front of me, but like a fruit, to my knowledge, is something that has seeds and is like the fleshy.
Does it have anything to do with roots or anything?
Well, that's the thing is vegetables are roots and leaves and stems. Right. So I would push back on the idea that things like celery, that's not a fruit. Yeah. Lettuce, and then you go into the thing of with potatoes are roots, so that's not
so we're going with a very classic definition of fruits,
so
right?
if we're gonna go down on this,
because I don't want to include.
I understand tomatoes, depending on who you talk to, between a botanist and a chef. It could be a vegetable or a fruit.
Right.
Some of my arguments would be back in the 1890s. Or whatever.
That's my favorite year.
Yeah, but whenever they were talking about taxes and stuff like that, and it was like, oh, do we tax the tomato as a fruit or a vegetable? The idea was kitchen use, so less botanical use and more kitchen use. Mm-hmm. I know this is super riveting stuff,
I'm with you right now.
It was classified as a vegetable, taxed as a vegetable, because that would be the mainstay. So you're talking your salads and different things like that as used for a tomato. It's not a fruit. You're not going to cut up a tomato and throw it in a fruit salad. I'm sorry, you're just not going to do that. So if you want to be that guy, I'm just saying, just in general, the human population, if you want to be that person, that's fine. You're not going to find that here. Tomato, I love tomato. In my mind, the way we're talking right now, vegetable.
That's okay. So tomatoes on the list.
Not that I like tomatoes at all.
Both,
so, but
sure.
In my mind, it is a vegetable.
It's not going to be on our list. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a good distinction to make here. I want to understand what we're working with.
I'm talking your juicy, usually
plump.
Sweet, plump.
I just love that word, man.
Yeah, clearly.
Nice plump.
But anyway,
vegetables.
That's how I'm classifying my.
What the fuck is a plum?
List. A plum?
Yeah, it's a purple one, right?
It's a purple outside.
Or is that an eggplant?
Also purple. Yeah.
Shit. I knew what I'm talking about.
Yeah, clearly. Plums are. I guess it's like if you took a peach.
Yeah. Turn it purple.
And turned it purple and shaved it. Like you choked out the peach and shaved it.
Like with the manscaper?
3.0 probably, because that's.
Are you getting the 4.0?
I don't think so.
No. I might get it.
Do you have one now?
I don't have one now, so I feel like it's a good time to get in the game.
That would be
right.
Or you might you could get a 3.0. That's
it's like the 3080. You wait till that shit comes out.
You wait for the TI to come out and just get the 3080.
Like someone I know.
So fruits.
Yeah. All right. So you said you had a couple floating around that you wanted to talk about. So why don't you?
Yeah. So some fruits. So I guess the thing is, you said previously you only like melons. Is that still?
I was thinking. So
or?
When I'm thinking of fruits that I actually eat, cantaloupe is my favorite.
Okay.
Followed by, I believe, watermelon. Now, I was thinking a little bit more about this because I have all of my epiphanies in the shower.
As one does. Yeah.
Of course. I like citrus a lot, and that's a fruit, right?
Yeah.
Is it or no? Is it
citrus?
Its own thing? Yeah, like lemons, orange.
Yeah. They're all fruit.
Grapefruit.
Yeah.
I actually like all of those. I like limes. I like lemons. I like oranges. I like grapefruit.
I mean, that's a decent amount of fruit. I mean, that's more than 5 right there.
So I like citrus and I like some melons.
Okay.
And that's kind of the extent of my fruit. Like I don't do any berries. I don't like any berries at all.
So
strawberries, blueberries.
What about bananas? Bananas are berries.
Oh, I do like bananas. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Holy shit.
I just want the audience to realize that we are not completely devoid of knowledge on the fruit arena, but we don't want to be assholes about it.
Well, we know everything about everything.
Well, sure, but I just want to
Haven't you heard our super serious lists that should be absolutely taken with a truckload of salt?
Yeah. Actually, if you salt watermelon, that's pretty tasty.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't ever done that.
Same with like strawberries. So if you want to salt that, or it kind of juices them up a little bit.
I think my cousin's allergic to watermelon, but he eats them anyways.
That's because it's that good.
Right. It's like someone else I know who's allergic to like shellfish, and he eats it anyways. It's
I haven't had shellfish in a long time.
I remember we were at Ichiban, and you're like, I'm getting shrimp. Chelsea's like, you're fucking idiot.
No, you were not.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah.
Ironically, shrimp still touched my plate, and I got very sick that time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you should. That's why I was telling you. You should have just went for it.
Oh yeah, just go all in.
Just go
like
all
I'm
in.
sick anyway. I have 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
All right. So
I do like bananas.
Let me start. So we named some cantaloupes, watermelon, oranges, lemons, limes.
Yeah, everything I like: cantaloupe, watermelon, bananas.
Yep.
Orange, lime, lemon, grapefruit.
Yeah, I think all of that is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones. So I actually personally do like plums. I like peach flavored stuff.
Okay.
I'm kind of a fan of nectarines, which is a little weird. So actually, let me take back the thing on peaches.
Okay.
I think plums are probably closer to nectarines in terms of like texture and things like that because they don't have that fuzzy exterior.
Yeah, they're more plump.
Yeah, gotta get the plumpness. But yeah, so I mean,
child.
if it was me,
yeah,
I think the things that we overlap on: watermelons, oranges, bananas.
Yeah, I think those are some heavy hitters right there.
Up there.
I think
now the one we didn't talk yet is like pineapple. How are you feeling about pineapple?
I won't eat pineapple by itself, but I absolutely love it with ham. Yeah, I might do it on a pizza. Like if we're doing it, if we're at Vinny's, I'll definitely do it on a pizza. It's got to be in combination with something. I would never eat it by itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's really good. Like fried pineapple is very good. So
the other thing,
I would do that by itself, but just a pineapple I would never cut up and eat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course apples, which can go all over the place between Granny Smith and different things like that. Like
I would eat an apple, but I find myself never eating apples.
I would eat an apple. I don't like how when you bite into an apple like raw, like I always cut my gums when I do that, and that's why I hate doing it. So like I'll chop them up and do it, but again, that goes into the amount of work that has to be done for eating an apple.
Yeah,
so.
right.
But
what's your favorite type of apple?
The one in an apple pie. That's the problem. Is if we're talking, and this is going to be kind of the distinguishing factor.
That sounds like a punchline to a joke.
Yeah, but that's it.
Like a 1920s joke, but still.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still like
no, it's good.
I watched Top Gun. That came out in the 20s, right?
Yeah,
like
they had F-14s in the 1920s, man.
Here's the thing with Apple, and this is why I was asking about flavors and different things like that.
Yeah.
Is technically you're eating the apple fruit in a pie, but obviously it's
very distorted. I
mean,
if that counts, then pineapples would definitely be up there for me because, like I said, in different variations of the pineapple,
right.
like I will do just a pineapple if it's like fried or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, those are very good. But yeah, apple in the pie, you're really kind of distant from the original apple, but I guess it still counts.
Like the original apple would be.
What about banana bread?
Like if we're talking,
how crazy are we getting?
I love bananas across the board. I think
banana bread, banana pancakes.
I'm going to go out on a limb early and say banana is the number one fruit. Yeah.
Dude, you always do this. Which
I know.
Abby has yelled at us every time.
I know.
You're like,
I'm just saying.
You know what's number one? This.
I'm just
like, the
I'm
suspense.
So
I see it just flying away.
No, but like everyone. So here's the thing.
Okay.
If we're talking fresh fruit, apple isn't even in the question for me.
Sure.
However, if we're talking about any type of bread, muffin, freaking pie, apple is the number one fruit for me. Like if you're talking about a fruit pie, fruit muffin, anything
beats it.
I would actually
banana nut muffin.
I would actually take
banana
apple.
bread.
I would take an apple
banana
muffin
pancakes. Banana split. It
Apple,
gets into the dessert realm.
I know.
Yeah. So does apple. So does
apple cinnamon
on
top of some like a pie a la mode.
You
like
got candied apple.
Yeah.
You like those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying
apples are pretty fucking good.
All
They're very
of that
flexible.
I think
that's
valid.
a good. I think as a fruit, much like a pizza topping, you got to be flexible.
I agree,
and that does give you some points. So I could see that.
So if we're trying to just throw out, and I mean,
I love how we're getting around like actually eating the fruit itself. Be like, look at all this stuff you can put it in.
So I think oranges should be on there just for the flavor, and like orange is just good.
How would you play soccer in 6th grade if you didn't have orange slices? I mean, honestly, it's literally fueling a whole entire sport.
How do you feel about grape?
I don't eat grapes.
Okay,
yeah.
But see,
like, I like the artificial grape
that's
flavor.
That's what I'm saying is like I feel like grapes, like fresh grapes eating are vastly different than the grape flavor. I don't like grape flavor of anything, but I love eating grapes.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, easy to eat, very good snack. Yeah. Snacking fruit. I could see that. Yeah, juicy. Doesn't have the plumpness. Doesn't really have
plump.
It's small plumpness.
The size to plump ratio is there.
Oh, the size to plump ratio is probably juiced, right? Like because they're very small.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, but when you bite into a grape, they basically explode, which means they are as plump as they can possibly get.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Is there a measurement for plumpness? Like there's a measurement,
like a circumference, you mean?
Like you can measure liquid's viscosity, which is like how thick and stuff it is and how quickly it'll move.
Yeah.
Right? Is there a plump measurement?
So
that's what I want to know.
I mean, we're getting way off topic here, but I would consider plumpness based off of relative size and almost like firmness. Now, not firmness in terms of like like apples.
Yeah, because then watermelon would be.
Well, that's what I mean. Like apples really can't do a watermelon.
You have to have some give. Things. You have to have some
right.
give. Yeah.
So you're talking like your berries and grapes and plums.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
We need to think of a unit for plumpness.
I still think it's grapes.
Grapes are the unit.
How many
fruit is
plumpness?
2 grapes.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay.
It would always be a fraction though, because if you're talking about full plumpness is 100%
right, so grape would be.
Then it would be always.
What
be
if
a
it's like the inverse,
grapes.
like two grape plumpness is like 1/2? You know what I'm saying? I think we're onto something. There's something there. We'll figure it out. In terms of grapes, do you go with the purple ones? I know there's like green ones.
Generally speaking, yeah. Yeah.
Are they vastly different, like in taste and stuff?
I think green has a tendency to be a little bit more sour grapes.
I
see. Like the purple or the red.
Is that
ones
the different?
That's
like
sweeter.
The stages of ripeness.
No, they're completely different.
Oh, they're
grapes.
completely different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just flexing my knowledge of fruits.
Yeah.
At this point,
so
honestly.
it's interesting because if you want like a dessert or something to snack on that's a little bit sweet, I'll definitely go with like the red grapes.
Sure.
Black grapes, not so much.
Okay.
Always seedless, never seeded.
Right.
We made the mistake of getting seeded grapes before
I don't know.
And just threw them out.
That's a hazard.
Yeah. And it also, then you get into the whole thing of like, when are they in season, which has largely gone away, I would say.
Right.
But even like mandarin oranges right now, like the past few that we've had are very, very sour. So like,
okay.
I would give you orange over maybe like mandarin oranges. They're like a smaller type, like generally sweeter.
Like the clementines and stuff.
Yeah,
yep. To me, those are still oranges. I know, probably
they absolutely are,
that,
but like I find them to be generally sweeter.
Yeah, no, they're
like
different, but
too.
I just consider it a small orange. I mean, like I don't know.
I think if you were blindfolded and you had an orange slice and next to a mandarin slice, you could tell the difference on which was which.
Probably.
I'm not saying you could tell which one is which.
Yeah,
I'm saying you could tell a distinctive. This tastes different.
Sure.
I might be giving you too much credit there, but I believe it.
Oh, me personally?
Yeah, I think you.
No way.
I think you
could. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to try it. Yeah. Anyways, so bananas in.
So I think bananas in. I think watermelon and oranges. I kind of want to put
apple in after your compelling argument. Like just thinking about like apples. Not only I don't personally, I can take them or leave them.
Mm-hmm.
I will eat them over berries. I would definitely take an apple over a berry. But it's not only versatile. There's also so many different types of apples. You got your Granny Smith apples. You got your like all these different types. So I don't know. The more I think about it, apples seem like a contender to me.
I would love to have apple on the list.
Yeah.
Only because of all the other desserts and things like that. I just wanted to make it known that it's getting put on there, not for its like fresh.
I can respect
aspect. Yeah.
People liking apples though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, for sure.
I can respect people liking just an apple.
Yeah.
But in combination with all the extra
considering
curriculars
this is
it has.
Like our list, I just want the audience to know that the reason why I consider apple on top 5 are because of all the other uses of apple.
Yeah.
Besides fresh. Unless you can cut up a fresh apple and dip it in some caramel, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's just that you can do anything with the apple.
Yeah.
What else with orange?
So we have orange, bananas, apples. Yeah. I think watermelon's pretty good. If you love cantaloupe, I could be swayed for cantaloupe. Do you think cantaloupe and watermelon both should be on the list? Or
dude, I feel like cantaloupe's kind of unpopular, even though I love it.
So here's the only issue, and because we did this with pizza toppings, where it's like, okay, just imagine that it's the best version of that pizza topping.
Right.
If you're going to tell me the best cantaloupe versus the best watermelon, I could actually take or leave either. Where it's like,
okay.
Well, not take or leave. Like I would obviously take both, but I guess what I'm saying is,
what would you pick?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it would depend on the day. I think if you're on like a 4th of July outside,
I personally like cantaloupes better than watermelons, but Man, watermelons are really good as well, and I understand why people really like them.
I think watermelon's
if I had
easier
to pick,
to get.
I think I would go watermelon.
Yeah.
If I had to pick between the two. But that's only 4 though. I mean, we still have a 5th spot. So how do you feel about berries? Are you just not?
I'm not a big berry guy. The only berry I don't like specifically is I don't like the flavor of raspberry. I don't like the flavor. I don't like eating it.
Strawberries?
Again, the strawberries I can give or take. If you give me like a chocolate covered strawberry, I know that's like always like a big thing.
Yeah. No, doesn't do it for you.
Not really.
Interesting.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Talking.
I guess the flavor of strawberry, even like the artificial stuff, like apple artificial, I'm all in.
Yeah, like the apple Pop-Tarts are really good too.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like with
Apple Jacks cereal.
Yeah, I guess you can leave it.
Yeah, they're okay.
But like for strawberry, I don't particularly like strawberries or like even cherries. Like
right,
I'm okay.
Hey, dude, I'm totally with you as well.
And I'll take a cherry on top of a sundae, but that's it about it. I'm not like jonesing for cherries.
I take cherries off my milkshakes. I ask for no cherries.
Give me your cherry next time. Well,
I don't think we've ever gotten a milkshake together.
Also, I shouldn't say that on live air. What's so what about like blueberry? Like no blueberries or anything. I think blueberries are good, but I don't think it kind of
like a star fruit.
I never had star fruit.
Me neither.
Never had star fruit, dragon fruit, all the exotic
ones.
Never really had.
They
any
always
of those.
look interesting, but I've never had them. So I'm wondering if maybe we're missing something by.
Yeah, like pomegranates and stuff. Like I like some of that stuff, but it's not like, oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think we kind of have the 5 then, right? So
bananas, oranges, apples. Let's say watermelon.
Grapes.
And then, well, I wouldn't say grapes. I would take a pineapple over a grape.
Put pineapple? I could put pineapple on
there.
I
think if you go around, you ask people what their favorite fruit are. I would assume pineapple is
really
one of the top answers.
Yeah, pineapple's good.
Yeah, I think it's something too that it just goes with. Like you got your mixers. It's good to eat by itself. I would argue that pineapple, if you have like the best pineapple. That's typically like
I used to get the orange pineapple juice.
Yeah,
like the mix. It's pretty good. So
that's your citrusy flavors kind of combining too.
Yeah,
I think a special mention should be given to lemons and limes just because they.
If it was up to me, no, I said yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah. I'm totally with you. If it was up to me, they might make the list. Actually, I'm like the psychopath that can eat a lemon by itself.
I'm not going to go that far, but their use in all of the culinary stuff, like, I mean, that should be applauded.
It's definitely, honorable mention for sure. But yeah, what I would used to do is I would get the lemon in my water and I'd eat it.
The whole, like,
not the rind
and all. Okay, yeah.
But the lemon itself.
My dad used to eat, like, the orange, like an apple.
The rind's apparently really good for you.
That's nuts, man.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Well, if you go to a restaurant and if you even eat the rind or touch the rind,
no,
it's don't do that. It's quite bad.
Okay, so we have the 5 then.
So let me ask you this, so we won't do suspense. What do you think should be the number 5 spot then?
Okay. Right, so let me just think. So we have apple, banana, pineapple, watermelon, and orange.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would go out on a limb and say pineapple for number 5 spot, just because
I was thinking either pineapple or maybe orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because like the orange, it's like I'm just stacking it up to the other things. It doesn't seem to hold up as well because you're losing that versatility. You can do some things with oranges. But
if you're going purely versatility, sure. But I would put orange and banana on the same playing field in terms of
oranges
banana,
are really juicy.
Well, oranges are overpowering in a good way.
Yeah.
But I would argue bananas are as well.
Yeah, I really like bananas. Like I'll eat a banana.
Yeah,
just by itself.
I mean, if you want to bring in the ease of use to eat, it is actually much easier to eat an orange than it is a pineapple.
Yeah, but it's easier to eat a banana than both of them.
Well, that's why bananas. I'm trying to have some suspense
fair.
You know?
All right, pineapple 5. I'm with you on that. I think I agree.
And we could put oranges.
No. I think I'm with you on that. The more I'm thinking about tasting an orange, it's been a while. It's been a little bit since I've had an orange, but it is good. I'm good with pineapple 5, and then what were you thinking? Like apple 4 or watermelon
after
4?
Everything? I mean, if you were ready to put orange at 5. When we just put orange at 4 and then
it's
talk
rising.
About the other ones?
It's rising in the ranks here a little bit.
Oh, just as you're salivating and trying to imagine.
I'm thinking about, I would 100 times out of 100, I would eat an orange over an apple. If we're just talking about eating it.
So we're talking the raw fruit itself.
Well, if you're thinking about comparing two things, so we got the apple and the orange stepping into the arena.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm thinking about is, what would I rather eat by itself, right? Just the bare.
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, then apple would.
I'm not saying it wins because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's where you need to start.
Hey man, I like all these fruits. I'm fine. I'm fine putting apple.
I'm just saying that's where you need to start, and then you start getting into versatility. Mm-hmm. What other things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the first thing you need to consider is, what is the best base fruit, and I like the orange over the apple. I think you're probably the same way.
Sure. Just if you're talking the flavor, yeah, absolutely.
But then you get into the other things, and you think apple overtakes it.
Whenever I think apple, I am not thinking about apple as in the fresh fruit. That's the thing.
Sure.
So it's a little unbalanced.
Yeah, it comes down to what you're valuing more.
By that logic, apple would be my number 5. I'm fine keeping pineapple where it's at, putting apple at number 4. We all know that the number 4 spot is the true
controversial
winner.
one.
Yeah, so I'm fine putting apple at number 4.
So banana number 4.
I will never fight you on any other list except putting banana all the way down to
4. Okay, apple 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Orange is making a run for it, dude.
Well, so the real
orange
question
or watermelon?
Yeah, unless you're trying to advocate having orange as number 1, which I
no.
I
am 100% with you on banana number 1.
So
bananas are great.
Do you like watermelon or orange better?
That's a tough one. That's kind of a toss up, honestly. I like, if there's a orange and a watermelon in front of me. I think if we're going by the idea of it's the best, I think watermelon takes it by a narrow margin.
I agree with you. I'm looking at it, and I know we're just arbitrarily throwing in other factors.
There's a lot of science that goes into this, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Scientifically, watermelon seems to be more of a rare instance.
Yes.
It seems to be a little bit more of a treat.
When you get watermelon.
How often do you have watermelon a year?
Never.
Maybe
at like a
2
party,
3 times.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. The rare factor has to account for something.
Yeah, and I love oranges. Like, I mean, and I'll take oranges for 3, but like I have a whole bunch of them.
I will say though, orange might have the best drink. Orange juice is so good.
Yes,
you know what I mean, and that definitely
sure.
counts for something. I think orange juice is my favorite fruit drink.
I will 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Apple juice is good.
Honestly, but
grape juice is actually pretty good too.
I love grape juice.
Yeah.
But I would take orange juice over anything else, I believe.
Sure.
But yes, I do get excited. Like, I get excited when I see watermelon.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get excited seeing an orange.
Yep.
You like oranges, but there's not that wow factor.
So we're saying orange number 3.
Yeah.
Watermelon number 2.
Yeah. What's 1? I can't wait.
Bananas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. Banana 1. I think I'm okay with that, dude. Bananas are so good.
It's just, they're easy to eat.
They're
you
can put them in anything.
Yep.
Delicious. It's got range.
You want to talk about commanding flavor too? Like you put a banana in something, man.
It's a good assist fruit as well. Yeah. Banana and peanut butter is an absolutely broken combination that needs to be nerfed.
Splits.
Banana splits, absolutely. Yeah, there's just so many factors.
Yeah.
I'm down.
You wanna read the list off?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know where you're reading from.
I'm not reading from anything. My mind.
From your mind.
All right. So our official Couch Company top 5 fruits.
Yep.
Banana takes 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is watermelon. 3 is orange. 4 apple. 5 pineapple.
That's it. It's set in stone. Sorry, tomato and avocado.
I just can't wait. My favorite part of making these lists is seeing how many people we upset.
Yeah.
It's truly a joy.
I'm hoping that I didn't annoy anyone calling them assholes if they think that tomatoes are fruits and things like that. I am acknowledging.
You just called them that guy.
Yeah, no,
so
okay. Well, or gal. I am acknowledging that they are in fact technically fruits.
The government did decide that they were fruits.
I should look it up because when I was looking at it,
someone's going to call you up.
Yeah, I want to say it was 1893. Somebody can look that up.
That's crazy. If that's actually what it is.
I think that's what it said.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
when I was doing a quick
you were doing little
yeah.
research. Okay, you did the prep work this time.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, it was one of those like, what are the best fruits? And then people are just all it is tomato a fruit, and then that just went down a dark hole.
Rabbit hole, sure.
Yeah. But I'm happy with that.
I'm very happy with that. I feel very confident about that.
Yeah, that's our quickest list out of all the lists. It was only a solid 30 minutes if you.
Yeah, I mean, I would be the first to admit that my knowledge on this particular topic is not as advanced as some of the other
but
ones.
when you're thinking about it, really, like we overlapped automatically on at least 3 of the 5. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, the more we talked about it, I was like, I do like some fruits. Yeah,
I'm happy you do.
When I go to fruits, I usually think of like berries and stuff, and I'm like, I just never even touch them. So it's like, I don't know. That's because people always talk about like strawberries and cherries and grapes and
like I'll eat them.
I don't even eat them. So it's like, that feels good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So last week you were mentioning that you have a brilliant idea.
Oh,
the best idea of all time.
It might be. It's this or the printing press. Like Gutenberg was okay, but this kind of changes the game.
Can you have this idea without the printing press though?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an alley-oop. It's like an alley-oop.
Yeah.
It's an extension of what
he's like setting it, you're just spiking it down.
Absolutely.
That's what an alley-oop is, right? The set spike.
Set
score.
spike. Yeah, I mean,
touchdown.
Yeah.
Hole in one.
Hey, yeah.
I'm just going to keep talking until you start talking about this amazing idea.
This amazing idea. It's a board game. It might end up being a card game, though. I'm not 100%, sure
Are card games board games? I think they're in the same. I understand that they are not board games. Are they not in the same? Like if
same realm.
Well, that's what I mean. If you go into like the board
not the same
game,
family.
I know I'm getting off topic, but if you go into the board game category on Amazon, is like Uno not on there?
See, this is very tough because card games can be poker, Go Fish. You're talking about a deck of cards, and that's not a board game.
I understand they don't have boards, but I'm saying if you're talking about like,
so you think poker is in the board game family?
Yes.
Really?
I would say any
poker was out before board games.
That's actually a good question.
Oh, absolutely.
Poker was around before checkers.
Before, oh fuck, is chess a board game? Yeah,
100% is a board game.
Fuck yeah, then you win. Chess was out first, right?
I don't know.
Absolutely, they were playing chess forever ago.
Yeah, back in 1893, whenever they were deciding about
when the
tomatoes.
fruit sentence came out.
Yeah.
No, I want to say hundreds of years ago, chess has been out. Maybe thousands.
I mean, the Earth's only been around for like 3,000, so I don't think it was.
Well, the dinosaurs invented chess.
Nah, dinosaurs, whatever.
You don't believe in dinosaurs?
I believe in dinosaurs. No, I do.
That actually perfect segue into my game because it is dinosaur themed.
Tell me about your board game.
It's called
or card game.
Thesaurus.
Asaurus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a dino card board game kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of the game, it would probably be a card game. You pull a card and there's a sentence on it that's like, I guess, really simple. And it's your job to make it as complex as possible.
Oh.
So
okay.
I thought of a practice one. So you'd pull a card and be like, we are really good at talking about bullshit. And then I would get up and I would say something like, we are extremely adept at producing bovine excrement.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get points for every word you improve or whatever that you make more complex. And
how do you get those points?
See, that's the tricky part. I don't know what the scoring system would be if there's like possible words that you could use like on the like there's a card that the player gets and then maybe like the game master has a card and it shows like different possible combinations or something for improved words.
So is it like a like you have a card of all the different like thesaurus words and it's just like a point value based on like common to uncommon
it's like
words then?
A kind of like a Scrabble scoring system a little bit where it's like length and different words or depending on how complex they are worth different point values.
I gotcha.
So like the master card which has like the answers quote unquote on them will maybe assign different point values to each of the words that you can replace other words with.
Gotcha.
It's an alpha.
Yeah,
okay,
no, that's good.
But I think there's something there.
So is the dinosaur tie-in just thematic then?
Absolutely,
it has
yeah. It has nothing to do with dinosaurs, but it's called Thesaurus, and then you have like little cute cartoon dinosaurs, prancing around on the cards and stuff. That's a great sell.
Absolutely. And then you can have different things, like maybe you have like dino eggs and stuff. Yeah. And like for like bonus rounds, you can like crack the egg open and like
absolutely.
People can buy egg replacements because obviously like with board games, you need more microtransactions with board games. That's kind of like the thing,
like
right?
Gloomhaven, right?
Yeah, well, that's how you do expansions. You like maybe maybe you don't crack an egg, but maybe expansions just come in like an egg box. Yeah, you have all the different color eggs, and it's like you can buy them and stuff.
Yeah, maybe you can like pick. Maybe there's different dino characters. Yeah, and you have like abilities or something where I don't know. You can like sub out a word or like. I don't know. You get like half the time limit or something. I don't know.
It could be kind of cool too. Like if we kind of. So you mentioned like, okay, maybe there's a card and like with a bunch of words on it and stuff.
Yeah.
If it was less about complexity and more about rarity of words based off of, I don't know, I'm sure there somewhere there's like a
that's
site
where you would
or something like that you would have
the point value, right?
But maybe there's like 3 columns, right? And you have like a green column, a yellow column, and a red column of like common, synonyms, uncommon, and then rare.
Yeah.
And maybe the different cards you can play on each other of like, oh, guess what? You can't use the green column anymore and stuff like that.
That reminds me of this game that I was playing. It's like I'm gonna butcher this, but it was like a pepper game or something. That's kind of like a card game, and it's kind of like charades, only you can't mime and stuff. You just have to like talk, and then it gets harder. Like it's the same thing: green, yellow, and red, and it kind of puts limitations on yourself. So like a red would be like you can't use. I'm going to mess this up, but it's like you can't use like or something like that, which would be really hard because when you're making comparisons, right? But I think there's something there with this game. And it's kind of interesting. You could go in reverse. Maybe it's a very complex sentence, and you have to work to simplify it as much as possible.
And have people try to guess. Right. Maybe that's like a card you can play. And
and you reverse. Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting.
That would be cool. And then obviously, like the harder the word, the more points you get and stuff. And that could be a way of doing it.
Right.
You could also do it where maybe you start off in like easy territory. Yeah. And that's when you actually bring in the board game. And as you're going around the board game, the sentences are getting tougher and tougher and tougher as you're getting more to like, I don't know, modern age or Jurassic. I did not. Research Jurassic ages and dinosaur stuff, so don't quote me there. But
there has to be a meteor card.
That would be cool. So what would the meteor card do then?
I don't know. It's got to do something crazy. Like you draw the meteor card and like everything resets or something nuts. Like everyone loses their hands or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Where would Noah's Ark fall in?
Nowhere.
Maybe that's the whole. Could that be it?
We have a disclaimer on there. We're like, this is all fake.
we're bringing in. Maybe that's it. Is you have to get the design, like the dinosaurs. You like mid game, you find like your mate or your pair up, and then you have to make it to Noah's Ark to get out before the meteor hits or before the flood happens.
Oh man, there's a calendar. Cool. It's like 3,000.
Or maybe there's the meteor card, and maybe it's something where like. Every game is unique because you have like a stack of meteor cards.
Maybe the game ends, you keep going until you get to the meteor card.
Or maybe the meteor card starts the game off. So like let's say you have a stack of meteor cards and they're all completely different, but it's such a rule that it completely changes the way you would play the game.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, and it could be goofy, like maybe
you can flip the board and it's like all destroyed and stuff.
It could. Yeah. Or you're trying to outrun the meteor itself, right? So like hey, the meteor hits, you're about to be extinct. Yeah. Try to get to safety.
And then it's Independence Day and Civilization because you're trying to build a spaceship to stop the meteor.
Oh, so you have to like go. So maybe that's it, where the board game is like branching to different areas.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, do you want to get the spaceship and guarantee a win? But like you have to like go off on these like obscure paths to get the different parts.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool, man.
God, I think we're onto something there. That's what I love. I can bring just a quick 5-second idea. And Tyler's brain just fucking revs.
The wheels start turning. No, I love it. I love bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, so I think that'd be a lot of fun. You know, I can't wait for someone to take that because we're too lazy to do anything about it.
Yeah, but we could. I'm sure we could kind of like draw something up, right?
I think it's a good balance between there's a kind of a interesting card game mechanic because I think there's definitely a market for those kind of games where it's using your intellect, but nothing crazy, but kind of fun like that. And then the design's great. I like the dino theme. Like that gives it an immediate theme everyone can relate to. Everyone likes dinosaurs. It could be like cute little cartoon dinos, walking around.
I mean, the Starleaf has to be somewhere in there, right? Like,
right,
just as, like,
exactly.
a little Easter egg or
something.
something.
Yeah, of course, dude. So, yeah, Littlefoot's walking around.
We might have to talk more about this because I think that's actually pretty... That's
a good
pretty
idea,
rad.
right?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Copyrighted.
Copyrighted.
No. But that was my big idea that I...
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that was interesting.
I think that would be in the board game section.
Oh, that would absolutely be in the board game section.
Yeah.
But poker is not a board game.
I mean, you put a poker mat down, you have chips. I think if you have anything besides cards, it automatically makes it a board game.
Okay,
it's like,
what about War?
War?
Yeah.
What about War? Okay.
Is that a board game?
I mean, maybe not necessarily. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying
card
you
need
games
the official
are,
mat to play War.
No, I'm not
John.
I'm not saying card games are board games. I'm just saying that card games are like if you just say, hey, this is the board game category.
Yeah.
If you go into any store and you're like, oh, hey, where are your board games at?
Yeah, but that's
where
ease,
you would expect.
That's just ease of, categorizing things.
Well, that's what I mean.
You're not going to have a card game section and then I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. Like, yes, my example would be a board game. Uno's a board game. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though there's no board required. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Trouble a board game?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trying to think of what else.
What's your favorite board game?
What about Yahtzee?
Oh, shit.
I feel like it has like
it's the same vibe. It's the same. It's in the board game entertainment category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if board games, like, do they have to come in like just like
a box?
Like a box, yeah, like cardboard box
Again,
or whatever.
poker doesn't come in a box. I guess the set does. But
yeah.
it's the deck of cards. Like Solitaire doesn't come in a box. It's just cards.
Yeah. Where do you think the cards come into? Like they come in a box of cards.
I don't know. They're always just lying around.
They just always happen to be there. I just pick them up.
I just assumed they were here when we got here 3,000 years ago.
So what were you saying? I'm sorry.
What was I saying?
I don't know. That's a cool
remember.
idea.
Yeah,
we're going to switch gears. I know we have to talk about a ton of stuff we've watched. I know we alluded to Top Gun. Do you want to jump into that?
You saw Top Gun.
I saw Top Gun.
To this day, is just astonishing that you haven't seen this movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was like right in your prime. You were like 35 at the time when that came out.
33.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Excuse me.
It's when did Top Gun come out? 1980s?
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Dude, did you see the movie, dude? It was like an embodiment of the 80s. It was like...
Well, I didn't know if it was just set in the 80s and it was actually the 90s.
When aliens come to our planet,
yeah,
you show them Top Guns. They're like, oh, 1980s. Okay.
Yeah.
What's next? That'd be an interesting kind of discussion. Like, you get one movie for every decade. What sums it up?
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have to know where movies actually come out in. I'm sure there's a better movie than Top Gun out for the 80s.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm just saying that's like kind of an interesting...
That would be. I mean, that's no different than video games, too. You could do the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel like movies capture more of a public
pop culture stuff.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, I could
video
games
games.
that. I agree
for
with
sure.
That. Yeah. So I do have some thoughts on Top Gun. First off, I actually liked it more than I thought I would. So going to Kyle's, so we had like a big watch party. Well, not big. It was a
I was surprised how many people came. I thought it was just gonna be like me and you.
Yeah,
and then everyone's wife started
like,
coming.
No, I want to watch
John
it.
came. Yeah, it was fun.
So it was fun. Great way to watch it. OLED TV, surround sound. It was fine. Going there, I was like, I can't believe I'm driving 40 minutes to Kyle's house to watch a probably 7 out of 10 at best movie.
Tyler, you drove all that way for Advent Children.
Yeah, fair.
Which is like a 5 out of 10, dude.
Fair. That's why.
So you literally you have lost the right to ever complain about driving to Kyle's for anything ever again.
I mean, okay, fair enough. But going there, watching it, I think there were some slower parts, some kind of drawn out sequences. I thought there was a lot of bromance. I can understand where all like the gay jokes come from and things like that for that. I would say I gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah. I thought it was pretty decent.
Wow.
I did not care for the flying bits,
which
is quite a bit of the movie. So
that's
take that
shock.
with a grain
8 out of 10, and you don't like half the movie, or you don't care for half the movie.
I thought it was funny. I liked the acting. Yeah. I liked the interactions and everything like that. I hate Maverick. I think he's the villain of the story.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
Well, I don't think I was actually thinking about this today.
Yeah.
And Top Gun's a little profound. And let me just kind of, unravel
elaborate.
Yeah. So everyone thinks that the villain, and even if you ask some people who we watched with yesterday, they would say, oh, the villain's like Iceman.
Yeah.
And that's like absolutely incorrect. Iceman, and you agree with me on this sentiment.
100%.
Is that Iceman's the only fucking rational one in the movie, dude. He literally goes to Maverick and he's like, listen, man, you're an amazing flyer. You're going to get someone killed, though, because you're insane.
Yes.
You're way too hot-headed. You can't do that up there. Your jet's $30 million. You got a guy in the backseat who has no control over what you're doing. You know, his life is in your hands, literally. You got to, like, be smart about this, right?
Yep.
He doesn't put it so nice, but, you know.
Yeah, but he doesn't put it so mean
no,
either.
He's not. I don't think he's an asshole.
Well, I think that's going into it. And again, I've never seen the movie, right?
Yeah.
So going into it and just looking at pictures of like Val Kilmer and everyone, it's like, oh, Val Kilmer is going to be like the biggest douchebag in the world.
I think it's his smile. He's always smiling, and it's very cheeky asshole kind of smile.
Yeah, but so is
so is Maverick.
Tom Cruise. So going in there, I had a very distinctive like, okay, here's how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
He's going to be the asshole, and eventually he's going to come around. Blah blah blah. I'm like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
he's like,
right?
Oh, Iceman, he never makes a mistake. He waits for someone to mess up, and then he just goes for the jugular. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, he's very cool.
It's called
like,
being a good pilot,
That's
dude.
what I mean. So, like, this entire movie, I'm waiting for him to just be, like, a douchebag.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is the most, like, he deserves, I mean, he ended up getting the trophy, which I also didn't expect him to get, which is awesome.
Right? Isn't that cool? It does
like,
a lot of subverting of expectations.
It does, more so than I would think for an 80s
movie.
action movie or whatever. Do I consider that an action movie along the same lines as like a Terminator, a Rambo, things like that? I think that's in a different class.
It's a little different.
Yeah, I don't consider it because I know Kyle was
it's not
talking up like that.
Pure like testosterone inducing.
Yeah, I put that on a different playing field, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like Val Kilmer way more than Maverick. I like every character. Character more than Maverick.
I wouldn't go that far. But anyways, just to finish my thought with that. So the villain of the story, it's like a man versus self kind of deal with Maverick.
Yeah.
He's literally, so I guess in a way you are right. Like his ego is the villain of the story.
I mean, I was being facetious, but I'll take it. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're 100% right.
The whole movie is him trying to overcome this chip he has on his shoulder for his reputation because of his dad and things of that nature. Yeah, and he's not
even trying to overcome. I think that's the thing. And maybe that was part of the reason why it didn't click with me for him specifically is like, I never got the sense that he was like, oh, I need to shape up. Because he says it a couple times. He's like, oh, this will never happen again. I'll never do this again. Or I'll
At the end, it's like he starts to leave Iceman. Because the whole thing, the symbolic nature of it is never leave your wingman.
Yeah, I guess at the very end. Sure.
And so he comes back and saves Iceman.
It was good. I liked it. I'm like, we were looking at like tickets for Top Gun 2 and stuff. I'm in. Like, I'll definitely watch it. Yeah.
He pulled up the trailer after the movie and I was like, damn, I'm actually, after seeing it again, getting that kind of nostalgia, I was like, damn, okay, I'm in. I think
the biggest thing is like, I like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, the trailer didn't do anything for me. It was more of just like, I have to see this thing now that it's more of like a morbid curiosity of, okay, this is 20 years ago. How does this, it's not even 20, is it 40 years ago?
Yeah.
It was in the 80s?
If it was in the 80s.
Insane.
Not quite, like 35.
Yeah.
Because mid 80s probably, right?
Still,
or maybe late 80s. I'm not 100% sure when it came out, but
let's
it's
say,
a long time
30.
ago.
Yeah, whatever.
At least 30, right?
Right. So I think that's
a testament to how
if that's when it came out,
Tom Cruise is still doing too.
He did. It was funny to watch how young he was in the first one, and then like he looks good in the second trailer.
But he's old.
He's very old.
Yeah, but dude, it's like put him up against Harrison Ford though.
True.
Sure. Harrison Ford looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, but then put him up against Paul Rudd, or even
how old's Paul Rudd?
He's up there. He's over.
He's
50.
not as old as Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is in his
60s.
We might have to fact check that. You think he's in his 60s?
I thought he hit 60.
I don't think so. That's like a. So you're saying Paul Rudd or Tom Cruise? Is that the plan here?
Well, I think Paul Rudd's.
Keep talking. I'll look it up.
I think Paul Rudd's significantly younger than Tom Cruise. Is my contention, right?
I don't think so, but I could.
Okay,
I could be
look
wrong.
it up here.
So Tom Cruise is 59. He was born.
Close,
he was born
close.
in 62.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Okay.
And maybe I am wrong, but let's see.
Paul Rudd. Yeah. I mean, Paul Rudd looks fantastic as well, and he's obviously
True.
still doing an amazing job.
Paul Bettany also, like, I don't think Paul Bettany looks as good as Tom Cruise and stuff, and he's only 50.
Yeah. Right, there's a lot of I think Tom Cruise.
Paul Rudd. Let's see what Paul Rudd's at. Paul Rudd is 52. You're right. So you got about 7 year difference.
About 7 years. But yeah, Tom Cruise still did like
good.
He's fantastic. But Cruise, like the Mission Impossible, is still fire. Still do well.
Yeah, the sixth one was a little more predictable than I would have liked. But yeah, I mean,
I just feel like they're kind of like the Marvel movies in a way where you're going to get a baseline consistency with them.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's never going to be like a bomb. You're always going to be entertained. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess the downfall is there are certain things that you have, like you always have to have a dude ripping his face off and being like, aha, it was me the whole time or something. Right? Or like, classic. I never thought it was, like whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's an issue that they can't get away from because that's the movie, right? Like
it's the whole point.
I guess you could do it and not do that, but then I don't know how people would take it. And
it's kind of interesting to see the evolution of it too, because you get something like Fast and Furious where it just gets so ridiculous.
Right.
Now it's easier to do that in something like Mission Impossible because it was already ridiculous. But they were already in the realm of like saving the world, whereas Fast and Furious started off as. Let's not forget that there was a time when Fast and Furious was about racing, ladies and gentlemen. Like
movie 1 and maybe 2.
Tokyo Drift. Was all about racing.
But we don't like to talk about that one.
You don't like Tokyo Drift?
I never saw it. That's the only Fast and Furious movie I did not see, short of the last one.
It's very good.
Yeah,
I think, in my opinion.
I never had any need to see it because everyone's like, "Oh, they did a disservice," and then down the road they were like, "Oh, just kidding, we're tying it all in." And then,
right.
I was like,
it's very weird. My little brother's really into that whole franchise, and he was trying to explain to me the lore behind how they shoehorned in Tokyo Drift, because the spoiler alert, the one guy in Tokyo Drift, his mentor or whatever, who teaches him how to drift, like dies in that movie.
Okay.
And then he's in the other Fast and Furious after that movie came out.
Okay.
So then they were like, oh shit, this doesn't make sense on the timeline. So at first they brushed it under the rug, but then they were like, okay, we're going to shoehorn it in. Yeah. And they were like, okay, those Fast and Furious movies after Tokyo Drift took place before Tokyo Drift. It was really funny. I mean, it's just hilarious because you see I'm just totally nerding out at this point about Fast and Furious. I don't even love them. Anyways, it's funny because like the Fast and Furious that are supposed to take place before Tokyo Drift, there's cars that didn't exist when Tokyo Drift was out. You have all these like supercars that, you know what I mean? So it's really funny.
I mean, that's cool. Like it's I give them props for trying to tie stuff in this long into the future. Like, I mean, good for them.
Hey, they do really well. So anyone who shits on the series, it's like they're raking it in.
Yeah, they're like
to this day
earning money. Like that's fine.
Like how easy is Vin Diesel's life? Just show up, be the same guy.
Yeah,
you've been for the past.
Is there with that? Like you can't recast, right? Like they've tried and it just doesn't
recast Vin Diesel.
Just the whole thing. Like you can't really do a reboot.
Of Fast and Furious now.
Yeah, right.
Nah, they're too committed at this point.
Like we, Chelsea and I were finishing up. So we finished all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. Yeah,
Endgame, and I think we still have like half hour left on Endgame or something like that.
You can stop movies in the middle of it.
We can't. I was literally falling asleep. I'm like, I have to do a service, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Normally I'll just pass out and be like, oh, the movie was fine. It's fifth.
Right.
But we were talking through, and some of the movies we did not see. So we have yet to see Black Widow because we're just not going to pay the $25.
Do you think that'll come out like later?
Absolutely.
Okay,
London. I mean, it might take a year or whatever, but like I'm fine.
It's not
waiting.
worth it. Buy it. Just wait.
Yeah. And the Incredible Hulk is not on the on the Disney thing
at all
for whatever reason. Yeah.
I mean,
and I wonder if it's like a licensing thing or something along those lines.
That was really early on.
But we were talking through where it's like, Edward Norton was fine as the Incredible Hulk. I didn't mind him. I like Edward Norton more or less. He's not like my favorite actor of all time, but I think he's
fine.
He's okay. Yeah. But then when you start looking at him in context with the type of characters in the Marvel Universe, I just can't see him ever, like, especially because of how good Ruffalo is. Like, I just can't. I can't picture it. But
you definitely can't go back after that.
What do you do for the Marvel Universe, right? Like, it's like
Just leave that one out, honestly.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, how do you ever recast? How do you ever continue on?
Oh,
like,
no one can ever touch Tony Stark again.
That's what I mean. Like,
I mean, they'll do it. I mean, look at the Joker. Like, Heath Ledger will have the best Joker performance till the end of time.
Sure, but they reset. That's the thing, is they keep resetting. You've had 2 Jokers since Heath Ledger, right?
Yeah, they can reset, is what I'm telling you.
Well, I'm saying DC can, because DC never got it off the ground.
Oh,
what I'm
yes,
saying
yes.
is, like, you have this Marvel universe
will continue.
Yeah, and like, how can you do it now?
I love that, though, because the biggest thing that pisses me off about comic books is, one, the continuity is all fucked up because you have different authors and everything like that, right? So you have to follow a particular series for that version of that character. Mm-hmm. And I know that they like do that thing where it's like the multiverse and this is Earth, whatever, but it gets ridiculous. So what is really fascinating about Marvel is you're going to have to fucking go through with this, and you're either going to have new people, new stories. Like, you have to. You're forced into that at this point, right?
Or you do the Falcon Winter Soldier thing, which this is kind of like my segue into kind of what you've been watching, but it's like, or you just keep passing the mantle.
That's right.
Down, and how long can you? Yeah, right, but like, it's new characters, but it's still canonical with like, you're not recasting.
No. I wouldn't recast at that point. That's what excites me.
Yeah,
because I hate comic books. Characters die all the time. They come back. Blah blah blah. In this, it's really like those deaths meant something.
Yeah,
Tony's death, Steve's oldness,
right?
Like
sure. Spoilers.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not there yet. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
They mean something now. That like there's actual gravity to that situation, because that's it for them. Like, those actors aren't going to come back to those roles, as far as I know. Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing is, 2 things. One, just to touch on so Infinity War, were you like, does it lose something whenever you just see everyone like float away and everyone's dying and different things like that? Like, do you think there's a person out there that thought like, oh my God, everyone died, and then like,
maybe kids,
they're going to immediately come back?
I am totally with you on this. I had the same exact thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was very cool. Like, oh man,
it was
like,
awesome.
I love seeing Cap's reaction to like losing Bucky, and
like, I know we talked about it, but the more I think Thanos is my favorite villain of all time, and that's
all time.
That's including Joker. That's including every other antagonist.
You're insane.
I know, but
we got to put in Dark Knight after this. Got to remind you why the Joker's the best.
But what I'm saying is, like, watching his performance, like Josh Brolin's performance, I cannot think of any antagonist. And granted, I'm sure I'm forgetting someone.
I'm thinking.
I can't think of a better performance than his. That his gripped me where it's like, well, he kind of has a point. Like, the Earth is kind of, and it's just like, you can see his conviction, his motivation. I'm not saying he was right, but I'm just saying, like,
I'm totally with you.
His performance was so damn believable.
Yeah.
That was like, he is the best. Like, and then he came in and just decimated everything. And a lot of that is good writing and the scripting and everything is like, okay, step 1, crush the Hulk. Just so you realize how much of a hand to hand, you realize how much of a badass he is. And he just annihilates everyone.
Yeah, really good.
And it's
writing.
Amazing. And I was just I can't think of anything better. Or somebody that I'm just like, you just feel this sense of dread that it's like, I truly don't know how you're possibly going to defeat this guy.
I will say, I agree. Thanos is definitely probably top 10. He's fantastic. Infinity War is great. Sets him up. Sympathetic, like you said. Like, villains, the best villains to me at least, make sense. Mm-hmm. They have a motivation that makes sense. And, you can tell that they believe in their cause. Like, maybe Thanos isn't correct, obviously, but he really believes he is doing the right thing, right?
Like, he has that, like, he's still sacrificing. He's still, because, I mean, you throw a
you
daughter, he's literally crying on screen.
Yes.
And it was just like, oh,
he does care about things, right?
Yeah.
You have to do that. But I will say, like, when I'm thinking best villains, dude, Joker's up there. And you have to watch Dark Knight again, dude. And you'll be like,
wrong.
Dude,
I love the Joker. I just think that they saw the Joker in Dark Knight, and honestly in the comics beforehand.
Yeah.
And they have done him to death where it's like he always has to be this like tortured thing. And like, I liked the Joker movie, like the standalone one. Like, it was fine.
It was okay.
Yeah.
That's not my favorite Joker. Like, honestly, my favorite Joker is Mark Hamill's. If we're actually picking like any version of Joker.
We've talked about that. Like it's like I like that version of it, but like they've just done him to death so much that I've never really felt connection to Joker. Not connection's a wrong word, but I never felt like, oh my gosh, like granted, Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger, amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like I've never been like, this is such a compelling character. Yes, he's maniacal, he's insane, he like all this stuff. I get it, and it's awesome from a villain standpoint, like a good kind of second side of a coin with Batman. Yeah. But in all honesty, I never really felt for Batman either. Like I get, hey, your parent, and I'm the biggest. You won't find a bigger Batman fan when it comes to like superheroes and different things like that. Like I'm all in on Batman
for sure.
But like I get your parents died. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, right.
And mine haven't, so maybe I'm not getting like they were never murdered in front of me.
Maybe I don't understand.
I don't. Okay, so maybe I don't understand. But what I'm saying is like just like I don't get how crazy Joker is and why he has to do that. Right. I also don't get Batman's motivation of that. Like at some point, like now if you're talking about like when Joker goes and kills Jason Todd and then Batman goes nuts,
hits harder,
I can see how that is a little bit more impactful than just your parents got killed in front of you.
Because
that's
it's
terrible,
like it just shows, I mean it's kind of like Superman's planet got blown up, but you're like, dude, we just met this planet, like why do we care? You know what I mean? So it's
that's the thing, and Superman's a baby, so it's like I don't know.
I mean you think about it, it's fucked up, but
sure.
I will say there's a couple thoughts.
I think Thanos is better written. That's just me.
Than Batman or Joker?
Yes.
Jesus.
Now, I'm not saying across the board. I think there are plenty of good incarnations of the Joker story, Batman story. Like, I think Killing Joke's good. Like, they have good stories.
Yeah.
I'm saying the core value of Joker is just pure chaos.
I will tell you why I think you just prefer Thanos over the other two, because Batman and Joker are incredibly unrelatable. Right? You have Joker, who is absolutely psychotic, doesn't care about anything. Unless you're an insane person, there's no way you can empathize with this situation. You just don't understand why a person would be like that.
Sure.
And kind of the same with Batman. Like he's, cold and just super detached, things like that.
I mean, Batman is insane in his own right.
Batman's the other side of the coin with the Joker. They're opposite sides of the same coin, right?
And I think the thing is, at their core, they are one-note characters, as most superheroes are. Because they have this one defining aspect of their life, whatever it is, a radioactive spider, whatever.
Yeah.
But at least, like, if you look at, like, Spider-Man, they have all these other... Like, he's going through, like, teen years and things. Like, he has other motivations, other things that just kind of happen.
Yeah.
And I just feel like with Batman, it's even if you pull out The Dark Knight, like, what's he really doing?
The Dark Knight is, like...
It's all Heath Ledger.
It's like, I don't like Christian Bale as Batman, really.
No.
Honestly.
But at the same time, it's also... How do you write Batman? How, like, what is he doing? Like, what type of...
Dude, there's a reason he's so popular, though. That doesn't come out of nowhere.
Well, that's also time, right? Like I think, and maybe this is just me not. I could be talking about, like there are plenty of Batman stories that I very much like the Dark Knight from like Frank Miller and stuff. Like those are my favorite,
of course.
But it's just this thing of like with Thanos. And granted, this is like the one incarnation.
Yeah.
I never read any of the comic books.
Right.
I'm
We're
sure
talking specifically MCU. Right.
It's just that hit me harder because he's going through sadness, grief.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily ever questioning his resolve. Like that's his one solid thing, but he's still, he's going through these different like emotions, and he's not just this one note character that's like, I need to destroy the world. He's literally explaining people. He's like, why won't you see the way I see the world?
What I'm doing
like
is
that.
For the best for everyone. Yeah. Right. And so with those characters, and I'm the same way. I feel exactly the same way you do. Like my favorite villains and anti-heroes. Like anti-heroes are my favorite type of character because they don't, they're kind of flexible with the rules, while still having morality in some cases, and they sacrifice a lot. And that's the key thing here is Thanos has to sacrifice so much to do what he feels is right. And you can definitely be sympathetic to those kind of characters, and it's really easy to get connected with those things. So I totally understand where you're coming from there. Like, seeing Gamora, even though it's not his actual daughter, like him actually caring about her and stuff like that, it really hits home with that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm totally on the same page with you. Those are my favorite characters.
I mean, it could be honestly with Infinity War. I would say Infinity War is the darkest of all the Marvel movies. Like easy enough,
for sure.
Right? So maybe it's just like a perfect storm of great acting, great writing, like, and then you put that against the thing that we just watched 20 Marvel movies within the course of a few weeks, right? So I mean, we're doing 2 movies a day.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at all that stuff, and then you go from like all these like jokes, like with Dark World and everything else, where it's like, hey, the universe is ending, and then crack a joke.
Yeah.
To get to the point of like Infinity War, where like people just they can't joke, like they're exhausted, they're miserable, they're they're fighting this like threat to the universe where trillions of people are going to get killed. Maybe it just hit harder because of all the levity up to that point. But I don't know, man.
So this is actually a pretty interesting conversation because it ties in with Abby's prompt.
I mean, do we want to just go right into Abby's prompt?
Yes, because let me tell you what it is, and we've hit a lot of things related to that, I would say, just by going over this kind of talk with.
And I'm sorry, I know you. So did you finish Winter Soldier and Falcon?
First episode. Oh yeah.
Oh okay. We'll go back to that.
I did finish Aladdin though, so that's what I was doing.
I gotcha.
2 and 3, and we can get into that. But let's do this first.
Let's do Abby's thing. We'll see what time it is.
That relates to what we're talking about more. So she says she stays up at night just with different thoughts pondering in her head. So she thought it would be good to include kind of these thoughts into the podcast here. So her question is kind of like, what makes a hero or villain? Like actions, perspectives, social status, motivations. Mm-hmm. Those are some of the things he brings up with that. And the second part of that is she was interested in hearing our thoughts about like one of our favorite heroes or villains. In this case, Thanos.
Yeah. So we should have read this question first before.
I should have. Yeah, but I was thinking about what we were saying, and it totally ties in with that. And think about this story from the opposite perspective. So like if you have like a favorite hero like Batman, like what's the perspective of someone like, the Joker or something?
Right.
Which is interesting. Now, what's funny about that is if we're talking about Thanos, the perspective would be what the audience is already seeing, which is from the heroes, right? So that's a little bit different.
Well, is she saying the perspective of like put yourself in the villain's shoes and try to sympathize
right. Yeah.
with him?
I totally butchered that. So it would be like from Thanos' perspective,
right?
He's the hero of the story now. All the light is shed on him.
Yeah, like maybe that's why I'm being drawn to saying he's my favorite,
right?
Is because he's really the only one I can think of like going into his shoes.
Where it's like,
which is
I could see a movie being written from Thanos' perspective, and I'm on board with what he has to do, and because everything changes when you frame it from a different perspective. And as always, I'll bring up Breaking Bad, which is the best TV show ever. Walt's a fucking terrible person.
Yes,
he does horrible things, but I don't know if it's just me. You kind of end up rooting for the guy a little bit. You see how shitty his wife is to him. Everyone else, he's a genius. He gets no respect from anyone. Like, obviously, this doesn't excuse the things he does, but you sympathize with this guy because of how society has just tossed him aside and this potential that's just been absolutely wasted.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, he's going to go fucking crazy. You know what I mean? He's going to show the world what he can do, and he does. And so most of that is if it was written from Hank's perspective, everyone would hate Walt. Oh, what an asshole. What a horrible villain. Like, he was pretending to be.
Or honestly, if it was written from his wife's perspective, too.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly.
Or Jesse's perspective. Like, that's the thing is, like, you can do that for days, but I think the difference is, like, if you're writing it from the Joker's perspective, the whole point of the Joker
I don't think it would be possible to write.
Well, that's the point. So then,
that's
if
just
you're
fucking crazy. I mean, I'm sure it could be done, but it would take someone special.
Well, they've done it before, where you have, like, I think the Arkham, not Arkham Asylum in the series, but like, I think there is a comic book called Arkham. I'm sure somebody's yelling.
It would just take. It would just like it's such a like. It would be better to write from Mr. Freeze. Would be a great perspective to see things from, right?
Absolutely, but that's the whole point. Is while I think Joker is a cool villain from just like a comic booky whatever,
yeah,
the idea, like, I mean, I would argue that Heath Ledger was really the one that touched on it of just like, I just want to watch the world burn. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what he is.
And I know he didn't say that. Alfred did, but whatever. Don't write us in. But the whole thing is like, that's still pretty one note. And still like, part of that is like how the villains came up, right? So like if you're looking at Thanos, it's like, hey, my entire world was like burning around me because we were out of resources, we had nothing. Yeah. And he's like, and no one would do anything about it, and now I need to like save the universe. Basically, you have this kind of like hero complex. But with the Joker, it's like not only do you not know his upbringing, but
never touches on that.
Well, they do, but it's different every time.
And his kind of like popular.
What's the thing? Like his popular line is like, "Oh, if I'm gonna have a backstory, it's like I'd rather have it multiple choice or something along." I'm paraphrasing, but and like that's what makes that villain cool. Yeah. But then that's hard for the audience to like sympathize. Not that every villain needs to be sympathetic. Sometimes that's, and I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but like sometimes it's cool if a villain is just evil because sometimes you need that, right? You look at Carnage, you look at Joker, you look at Palpatine, whatever. But even Palpatine has like these kind of sinister motivations, but they still have motivations. Where the Joker, it's just like complete psychotic, just like chaos. But like even he has something where it's like with Carnage, it's just like, I just want to murder. Like that's it. I just want to murder people.
I think there's definitely a place for that though. But if we're talking about framing perspectives, obviously it would be like, what are you going to do? Have a story from Carnage's perspective is like murder. Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
That's all you're hearing in his head,
so when you're trying to talk about like the best villains or the
you need
things,
like, complexity.
I think so. I don't know if it's necessary. But
I think you could, like we said, the last Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Was an interesting perspective. That's obviously from Joker's perspective. You kind of get a little bit, and it's obviously a different take on the Joker, like you were saying. Sure. It's totally different.
But does that take away from what the Joker was? Like, obviously, you would assume there's some sort of trauma there to create this, like psychotic. Yeah, like
where did Heath's character Joker? What was his backstory, right?
Right, because he was way more calculating. He wasn't just like this kind of like misunderstood or making things up in his head or whatever. He was like a villain. Where like, again, that's going to a completely different place of he's just trying to be like kind of watering it down, but like mischievous.
Right.
He has this,
he has
this plan.
That Joker.
But like you're not going to come up with this whole bank robbery and drive in a bus and then go out with a bus, like the bus line or whatever, or kidnap a hospital. Like it's just, you're not going to do
absolutely.
that if you don't have that.
It's what's the and I think part of the brilliance of it though is there is no, it's just cause.
Right, but to me, I'm never going to sympathize with.
No,
not
absolutely.
Sympathize. I don't want to even like relate or to.
That's what I was saying. You're never relating to Joker, but I think that's okay. But in terms of this prompt specifically,
but for Abby's question, it's tough to do.
Joker would be bad. It was interesting. You recently just watched One Punch Man, but the villain from that in season 2 is kind of interesting.
Yeah, who I absolutely love.
You could absolutely do it from his
Goran.
Yeah,
something.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. But his whole thing is like he hates the heroes and stuff, right?
Yeah,
because they're entitled and
absolutely
pompous,
and that just by itself was enough for me to be rooting for him.
Absolutely,
like, I literally wanted him to
because the heroes in that universe, for anyone who hasn't saw it, the heroes are like, they get like ranked and stuff, and they are assholes because they're like the bureaucracy at this point. Like not actually, like there's still a government and stuff, but like they're first class citizens. They get preferential treatment. They get a lot of money and shit.
Right.
And it's like the hypocrisy of it. Like I can totally see his perspective on that, why he hates them. But I think because they're losing what it means to be a hero.
Yeah.
Like that's getting lost completely.
And it's tough. Like, I mean, with Abby's prompt too, like, I would say that a lot of those heroes, like we don't have to guess how it would be just because the show shows us that, or the movie shows us kind of their perspective still, or they're trying to explain that perspective, give some sort of depth to the.
But it definitely
characters.
Changes things if they're the main character. I guess that's the more what I take from it.
To make them to be them like painted in
the
a better
movie
light,
is
saying.
About them. So like imagine in like Star Wars, the 4 through 6 is about Vader.
Yeah,
I got he's the main character. We get to see him, and you'll see Luke every now and then sprinkled in. Although I guess we didn't see Vader. We did see Vader a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but even that, it's like
or quite a bit.
It's tough because he doesn't really have motivation.
Yeah, he does. He's trying to stop the rebels.
But for why? Like, why?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the difference. Is before it was like,
well,
I need to resurrect Padme.
No, I think you could do it because you would have him. Like, I could totally imagine Vader just in his private quarters, fucking throwing a Kylo Ren type temper tantrum, just thinking about like, what the fuck am I doing anymore? Like, what was this all for? You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
there's probably a book.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure,
explores this
that they retconned.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
But I think you totally do that. You know, just having flashbacks about killing Jedi younglings, like hating himself,
like waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah,
but I guess
right?
my question is, do you have to have that character be redeemed, or
in that
maybe
circumstance
not redeemed,
he does, but
like, does he have to acknowledge the fact that he did something wrong for us to latch onto that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But
I go back to Breaking Bad. Like, Walt never said, "I'm sorry."
He did. I mean, well, he didn't. I guess he didn't say he was sorry, but he admitted that I did all this because I wanted to.
Yeah, that's not an apology.
Well, it's not an apology, but it was.
He never said I regret it. He said I wanted to do this. I liked it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I liked,
but he's still acknowledging
how I felt.
that that's the only
thing
for it.
He came to grips with is his motivation. He was constantly lying about his motivation the entire show.
Right.
Telling this is for my family, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit.
But then he still, like, sacrifices himself-ish to get Jesse out.
He saves Jesse.
Yeah.
But, dude, he planted a bomb in a nursing home. He fucking killed multiple people. Yeah. He killed 12 people in prison in, like, in a minute or something.
That's right.
All the witnesses.
I need to watch that again.
He's horrible.
Yeah.
And never regrets it. Doesn't break down and cry and says, I can't believe what I've done. I'm a monster. He never has that moment. I did it. I wanted to.
That's
I liked
a good point.
it.
Yeah.
And it's still really good because you have enough of that. He cares about Jesse. Like, Jesse is his real son, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have enough of that stuff. And I think in terms of a Vader kind of movie, it would be interesting. He sees Luke again and he's like, okay, I need to get him to join me. Then we can take over the Emperor and make, because you know that's kind of like what he wants, right? Luke, join me. We can rule the galaxy as father and son. We can make it in our image. I can fix things. I can redeem myself. I think you have something there.
Like, spin it, because like I always took that scene as him just trying to tempt Luke, but he was never going to like do that. But I guess
absolutely. Yeah. That's an interpretation. But when the camera's behind Vader now, maybe you get a whole new light on this. Like, okay, dude, if you just join me, we can fix this.
Yeah, like
we can fix everything I've done.
You know.
Like, I fucked up, but we don't really know what he's thinking.
That's fair.
And we don't get that alone time with him. He's always talking to someone and threatening stormtroopers.
He's always joking
right?
somebody.
Yeah,
out.
right.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough.
I think that might be interesting. That might be a really interesting way to explore Star Wars.
I'm
Vader.
sure there's a current book out with that stuff in it.
Yeah, probably.
There's gotta be, right?
I think it'd be good if it's done well. I think that'd be really good. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Perspective's everything, and if you're framing something through the eyes of the villain, those are some of my favorite stories. I was more in the realm of like an anti-hero, but
but I like that more. And maybe that's just because we're bored with heroes, right?
Yeah.
Like, just generally speaking. But
I feel like heroes are just in a box. They have to be fighting for justice and to save people. And, like, my favorite anime of all time is Code Geass, right? And the main character in that I guess you would call it a noble goal. So there's like a tyrannical empire that's taking over the world. And he's like 20th in line for the throne. So he's like a part of this family, but he fucking hates his family.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole goal is to overthrow it. And he wants the world to, be at peace and shit like that, and he doesn't want that king to rule everything or whatever, right? But to do that, he murders innocent people. He lies to the people that are being, not enslaved, but like whatever, the people who are being ruled over or whatever.
Yeah.
He lies to them to start the revolution and leads them, even though he's one of the fucking the king's son or whatever.
Right.
And he lies to everyone he cares about. And the beautiful thing about that is because he loves his, like, he has his sister, and that's like the Gamora in this situation, right? And he has to lie to her at the end. And essentially, it's like everyone thinks he's fucking evil, and he has to do that in order to get rid of everyone, right? Yeah. So I like that sort of stuff where it's like he's not the villain per se, but he's not trapped in a box. He has to make tough choices. He's got to lie to people. He's got to be a scumbag. He's got to kill people. You know, there's blood on his hands, but he's doing it for a cause that you can understand and kind of support.
Right.
That's the best, in my opinion. That's the stuff that fascinates me. So
it's compelling. It keeps you interested. Yeah.
You have a hero like Superman, and it's like, and don't get me wrong, I love Superman, but you're just fighting for justice. You're saving the innocents. You can't kill innocents. You can't sacrifice people. There's no sacrifice. Everything's put on your shoulders. You know, you can't use anyone. It's very confining.
Yeah. I mean, is that just a product of like the initial how comic books were back then, and now we've kind of the pendulum's gone the other way, where it's like let's explore everything.
The classic hero's tale that's been around since forever, and you can see it, you know, throughout. I feel like we retell the same stories with different skins. I feel like as humans, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, but we always look for that glimmer of hope, that glimmer of redeeming quality or something for us to latch on to. It's like, oh, this person isn't completely bad.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because, I mean, if we look at ourselves, we're not all completely good or completely bad.
Yeah.
But we have both. You know, just having a Superman-esque person, like I can see the appeal, but I can also see why a lot of people don't like him at all, because it's just like this perfect, good at everything,
Boy Scout, Captain America,
absolutely.
Type thing. Yeah.
And it's like, that's just not real. You know,
it's not, but is it because it's not real because we can't identify, honestly, just like we can't identify with pure evil, like Palpatine or Joker or Carnage or whatever. And is it just like we need those type of heroes just as much as we need the complete black hole of chaos?
Yeah, no, I think there's a place for those types
of... Because like you try to put Joker as, like if you make him sympathetic, I think that detracts from what
you can't.
Joker was. Same with Carnage and stuff.
You can't.
So if you give Carnage a conscience, what's the point of Carnage? And it's kind of the same thing with Superman, where like if you start making him, which they've done, where they make him a little bit more broody and
Injustice.
That's the thing. Well, so Injustice, but like they go all the way with it.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like
a touch.
I like Henry Cavill, but they do that dark, gritty Superman, which I don't like compared to like Christopher Reeves, and to a lesser extent even Brandon Routh. Like, I don't love that that movie, but it's still like this very truth, justice, American way, blah blah blah. But
I mean,
like,
you need that. You need that.
I just
you need a Superman,
or you need to come up with something new. That's the thing. Is like we're so far into like just regurgitating, like you were saying, like just the rehashing all of these superheroes.
I think there are new ideas. I think in the comic book realm,
new ideas, but we're
not really innovating. But you look at, I mean, this is why,
and I'm sure we are, and I'm just not privy to because I don't read comics. What I'm saying is like you don't see a new character come out because there's so much equity in these existing characters.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of what I'm going off of. It's like you don't see the innovation in American comic books,
right?
But this is why I like anime so much. Like, I was telling someone else about this, but the top 10 comic book sales, in quotes, in the U.S. maybe a couple months ago or last month, I don't remember, was all Japanese manga. Mm-hmm. Like, that's because they're innovating. You get something like One Punch Man, where, that's totally different. The hero's Superman, but he's so bored of it. He's so tired of winning, and it's like he's lost all the meaning of what it means to be a hero. He'd rather be in his house playing video games.
Right.
Like, what an interesting perspective on that, right? Like, that's the stuff. So
but it's still a new person. I think that's the main thing, is they didn't take Superman and make him that way.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that we're missing, is we're taking these defined characters and making them into other characters.
Right.
At the very least, don't make it Clark Kent doing that. Make it his son, or make it someone else that is taking up the mantle of like, don't make it Batman that's suddenly all like goody two shoes, or like completely subverting expectations.
Right.
Or make a new character. Like, I mean, I guess, and none of these are new characters as far as like Suicide Squad, but they were at least drawing from these outlandish, crazy places.
Absolutely.
and that's more interesting. It's like, wait, what? Polka Dot Man? There is still backstory there.
I am waiting for Calendar Man to make an appearance.
He was in, I think he was in Suicide Squad.
Calendar Man?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure.
I just watched it. I might have missed it.
He wasn't in costume or anything.
Like
that.
The prison stuff.
I think if you look at the character, and ironically enough, and I could be,
you have to point it out to me,
misremembering, but he was played by the guy from Gilmore Girls, like the nerdy dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's credited
to tie it all together. I will say, and we've kind of gotten off track with the prompt, but I thought it was a good jumping off point.
That's good.
I agree with you, and this is what excites me. This is kind of what I was getting into before, what I was saying before about the MCU, is the mantle's being passed down. They have no option to go back. You have a continuity of this, where it's just the MCU. There's no other writers making new books and stuff. That's what excites me. And now you're going to see this lineage of, I got the shield from Falcon, and he got it from Cap, and this was my mentor, and you can see that this family tree is now starting to branch out, and it might be really awesome to see.
As long as they continue it, I think the kind of interesting thing is if they pull a Star Wars and you have this giant gap where then they try to shoehorn in all the old characters to pass the torch, it's not going to work nearly as well as what they're currently doing.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, here's the TV shows to set up the movies, here's the next phase.
Yep.
I think a lot of stock's going to get hit with Spider-Man, and I guess to a lesser extent Black Widow, because I haven't seen it, so we'll see how that goes. But like the new Spider-Man movie, hopefully coming out this year.
Yep.
I want to see if they can try to tie Venom in at all. I'm very curious on the X-Men, like all that stuff. Like that's the exciting portion. Is they have a lot of options on. Do you go in and you recast everyone,
right,
or do you just give the fans essentially what they're asking for and just be like, okay, no, here you go. Like here's your cast. But
I hope they keep going with it. I think the quality's still there. I really do. The TV shows have been like, I saw Loki. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Started Winter Soldiers. Seems like I'll be on board. But yeah, it's just that continuation. That's what comic books have been missing for me. Like you're saying, but you're absolutely correct. It's the equity Batman will always be worth so much. But I love when
great idea you
but
have.
I love watching something like Batman Beyond, where he passes the mantle down to Terry, and you get to see him be this different Batman because he's a different dude. He's trying to be like Bruce, but no one's ever going to be like Bruce. But I want to see Terry pass the mantle. I want to see Bruce Wayne die. His memory will always be, it's cemented. And I want to see Terry pass down the mantle. Maybe it's his fucking son. I don't know. It can be crazy. Like, that would be interesting. And now you have this lineage of Batman, which I'm sure already exists, but they never commit. They never commit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's comics, right? Like that's I don't think you're ever going to get that on the comic side.
I would love to put Batman in the Hall of Fame.
Just retire.
Just retire because he will be remembered forever.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, they've done it, and then with the new 52, like, just reboot it. And again, I'm way out of my depth in terms of comics.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are plenty of people that are saying, "Hey, here's a whole litany of comic books that you should read that would touch on every." I mean,
it's just too much for me.
I have one where it's like, "Oh, what if the Waynes found Superman instead of the Kents?"
That's
which is awesome,
crazy, yeah.
Because then that all still happens because it's like, oh, the Waynes still get killed, but now you have Batman who has superpowers.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
That's insane.
So like things have definitely been done, and there's so many comic books that obviously neither of us are even aware of.
Right.
But in terms of like the cinematic universe, so to speak, it's
That's just easy to follow.
Yeah,
because it's all neatly wrapped up. And,
for sure.
I'm curious to see where it'll go, and I'm excited for that too.
Yeah. So I know we're getting close on time.
Yeah.
So you watched Aladdin
2 and 3, which until recently I didn't even know existed. So
can I get your quick take on that?
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think we have to go dive into too much.
Absolutely. Just a quick refresh. So I never watched any of the sequels to. I didn't even know these existed, but I watched Little Mermaid 2 once so long ago. Because oh man, Little Mermaid was great. There's a second one, awesome.
I've only seen that movie once.
Fucking terrible movie.
Yeah.
Just so awful that I was like, I will never watch a Disney sequel ever again. Especially if it's straight to DVD or whatever, right?
I've never seen a Disney sequel obviously Aladdin ones, but aside from
Frozen 2.
No, I never saw Frozen 2.
Wow.
The only one I've seen was Pocahontas 2. When they were like, "Oh, everything we said was historically inaccurate." Okay, cool. Let me re-roll.
I haven't seen Pocahontas 2. But yeah, I vowed off Disney sequels, but apparently these were supposed to be good. So Tyler told me to watch them, so I did. Aladdin 2 is not good. I think it was the animation is done by like the TV team. I do remember that show, which I don't think was that bad actually, if I'm remembering correctly.
For TV, it's fine. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but dude, Jasmine's drawn so weird in that one. Like it gets better in 3, but I could not. I was like, that's not Jasmine.
The sequel.
It was not good.
So it was developed, and then if I remember this correctly, and I think I was telling you about this, where it's like it was developed, and then the TV team got in, and then they completely changed studios at one point.
It's just a mess.
So like if you look at like even the magic carpets like detailing is like vastly different from 1 and 2 and stuff.
It's jarring. It's jarring. Luckily, I didn't watch 1 before I went into 2. That probably would have made it worse. But
maybe.
I will be honest. It was a kind of a struggle to get through 2. The positives of 2 is George Costanza is the villain, which is amazing. I heard his voice. I was like, no way, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jafar comes back. Jafar kind of off for me a little bit. Like he doesn't hit the same as the first one. I don't know. But
he's more like maniacal and less conniving,
I guess. Right? Like,
actually, I don't even know if that's true because he's like hell. So I guess before like the original Gerard, the original Jafar. was more of just like I just want to rule.
Yeah.
And this one is like I
just revenge.
Ruin
but
Aladdin.
his whole thing was revenge, and he throws Aladdin off a cliff, and then he saves Aladdin to make his death more painful. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Forgettable. I gave it a 5 out of 10. It was a struggle to finish.
Yeah,
I would have not. Sure. I would not have finished it if it wasn't for you saying that 3 was so good.
The only reason why I was pushing for you to see 2, one, just because the historical aspect. So when I was a kid, I actually wore that tape out. So it was a VHS.
Really?
So back in the day, film was on these plastic tapes.
I had
you
VHS.
VHS? Okay,
bro.
cool. So I literally wore that out where it like the tape snapped is how much I was watching it.
So you got some hard nostalgia for that.
I do.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. It's
not a good film.
It's probably a close to a 5. I would give it a 6 just because I can't give it lower than that. But
like I've explained previously, 6 is I can watch it.
Sure.
I barely finished it, but I got through it, and 5 is I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
And I gave it a 5, even though I did finish it because I would not have finished it if it wasn't for 3.
Fair enough.
I thought in 2 the genie was okay until I watched 3. Robin Williams made his appearance again. I was like, that's why.
Yep.
That's why. This movie's
the reason why I pushed for 2 again was a historical thing, and I wanted you to see the arc of Iago because it's another weird thing of like I appreciated that, and it's tough to go from 1 jump to 3 and then suddenly Iago's like
best part of the movie was Iago.
Yeah, it was really
same
his
voice
movie.
actor, obviously. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. Iago had a pretty interesting arc where he. Is like a good guy now. So he has to go against Jafar and stuff.
Anti-hero? I mean,
that's what happens in 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, the positives were Iago was cool and
that's it.
Yeah, that's actually it. Like that movie was kind of trash, dude, honestly.
Yeah.
Carpet,
there's a reason why it didn't go in theater. It was just straight to
It's hard to ruin
DVD.
Carpet. Like he was fine.
Yeah.
Abu, and correct me if I'm wrong, does Abu talk in the original?
He does.
Really?
He does.
See, I didn't remember him like talking.
And I want a cheeseburger bet off that because he says hello. He
not as much though.
He says Aladdin. Like
not
he mumbles it, but you can tell what he's saying.
I think they do it better in the original because it was jarring in 2.
I don't remember.
He might have been.
He actually like.
He might have been
talk?
saying like some longer sentences. It's still like the half like mumble stuff, but it's much clearer.
It's always one word in the original.
Yes,
so,
I think he was actually saying sentences, and maybe it's so forgettable that I've already. It's already leaving my.
I'm gonna have to watch it again because it's been quite some time since I saw it.
It was rough. I didn't like it.
So go to.
Then
3.
I get to 3.
Yeah.
And I'm in a bad mood because 2 sucked, and I'm like, dude, this is gonna fucking suck. And then Robin Williams is the first 15 minutes of this movie. It's Robin Williams, and I'm like, yep, I'm in.
Yeah.
He does 25 impressions. His first 15 minutes, he gets a song. Yep, there it is. That's the thing about 2 as well. The music was awful.
Yeah, it was
Iago. When Iago gets his own song,
multiple songs, right?
Multiple, yeah.
It's not great.
Not that Iago's not good, but
Gilbert Gottfried, maybe not the best singer.
If he has like a funny one song, that's fine.
Sure.
But he's trying to carry, like Iago can't carry, but Robin Williams can. So we get to 3. Best way to start it. Remind us why we have
it's like, hey, Robin unshackled, go.
Yeah.
We'll animate.
Like,
you talk, we'll animate to you.
I am convinced that's what they did for this film.
I'm pretty sure that's part of it.
I was talking to Tyler before we turned on the mics, and dude, I'm telling you, they hit every Disney movie, every pop culture reference in existence. It was unbelievable what this guy did. Robin Williams, that might be his best role. And he's been
as Genie, you mean?
Yeah. And he's been in a lot of amazing things.
Yeah. I mean,
that's got to be up there. That has to be up there, right?
I don't watch a lot of Robin Williams. I like that.
Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting.
Maybe Hook. Yes, I watched
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, really great, right? He's been in a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
So what do you think of the villain? Like, I mean,
well, okay, let me start with Aladdin's dad's a boss.
Yes.
Like, he's so cool. Like, oh my God. Like, dude, that's amazing. Like, Aladdin's dad, the premise of that movie was actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Where it's like Aladdin, like 2 was more the same shit, only kind of reversed, where it's, Jafar trying to fuck everything up. But this one was like Aladdin's dad. He's not a bad guy. But he's not a good guy. Obviously, he's like the king of thieves, the 40 thieves or whatever. What a like awesome concept. Like it was like really sweet. So yeah, I loved Aladdin's dad. I thought it was awesome. The villain, I guess, is like his second mate or whatever.
Saluk, I think. His
yeah,
name
right,
is,
with the claws.
Right.
He's a throwaway villain. Like he's just a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
But the real spotlight of that is Aladdin and his dad.
Pretty good. His "Are You In or Out" song's pretty good. Like,
Are You In? Yeah, the
like,
music in that one, like that might be my favorite song. But music in that one's way better. Robin Williams steals the show. I still think they do Jasmine dirty though. Like she doesn't do fucking anything in any of these movies, and I guess she technically didn't do anything in the first one either. But she felt better in that. They had an awesome duet, and
correct me because again, it's been forever since I saw 2 and 3. But it seemed like 3 was almost like they didn't know what to do with her, so they just kind of said like, "Hey, I'm gonna go with my dad. Is that cool?" And
she's just out of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I will say a big critique I had was Aladdin kind of regresses a little bit in his arc. His dad goes to jail, and Aladdin just fucking breaks him out and just. But what?
But that's so he can leave. I think so. I think like he does regress.
He
in
betrays
a way.
Aladdin, and the first thought Aladdin has is not fuck this guy. It's like, oh, I'm gonna break him out so I don't have to see him anymore. It's like, dude, he's in prison. You don't have to see him anymore.
But that's also kind of like this family thing too, where it's like, well,
it's his dad. No, I understand, but he's literally sacrificed. Like, okay, the thing I really didn't like about it is that he breaks him out. He goes back and he's in front of the Sultan, and the Sultan's like, well, you broke the law. And Jazz is like, well, he had to because it was his dad. I would do that for you. And so it's like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll just sweep it under the rug. It's like, fuck that, man. He just broke a dangerous criminal out of prison, man. You can't just sweep that under the rug. I know it's a kid's movie, whatever.
Sure.
It just, I felt like in the first Aladdin, the motivations made sense and everything was, I don't know, dude. Anyways, I digress.
Let me ask you this. Did you think that you would be seeing freaking Atlantis just pop out of the ocean?
Amazing, right? Yeah. King Midas's hand. What a magic item, by the way. Great That's for like cool. A D&D game or something.
Yeah.
Might be a little OP. Touch a dragon.
I kind of want to understand how wrapping cloth around and this is as a kid. I
Big
never
brain,
understood
right?
That.
Yeah,
like wrapping cloth around the hand.
It turns that into gold, but you're not touching the hand.
But it's gold cloth? Like, don't you think it would turn to solid gold? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
What was weirder is the water turned to gold and it was still a liquid, right. But it was just golden water. Yeah.
So there's some kind of, and even as a kid, whenever that movie came out, I was like, that doesn't seem right.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, it was good. It wasn't perfect, obviously.
No, was it Aladdin 1? Was it the best Aladdin movie of all time? No. But in terms of sequels.
Wow, yeah. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I'll take it.
Definitely a passing grade. Not even barely. I was happy to watch it. I didn't love it, but it had enough, good stuff in it to keep me interested. Aladdin's dad and Iago. that pair,
that was
great pair.
Yep. I forgot that he
goes off with him at the end. It's like that makes so much sense.
Yep.
Like Iago's can't do the totally good guy thing, but what a perfect guy to get off with. Yeah, Aladdin's dad was awesome, man. He comes in with like the whole get up, and I was like, oh yeah, this could be good. So I enjoyed it. It was great. You need Robin Williams. You can't have Aladdin without Robin Williams.
So I mean,
I think that's the conclusion I came to, right?
Yeah, and that's sad because it's like, well, I mean,
I know.
You're never gonna go back to those movies, right?
Never gonna get that again.
I wonder if they ever do something where, and it's Disney, so they might be greedy enough to try.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever try to reanimate, but with like a Pixar style, but then just keep
Can't do it.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think they'll try though?
Oh, they might try.
Like call it like Disney remastered or something, but remastered in the way of like, okay, all new animations, all 3D, like special lighting, everything. Yeah. But they're just taking all of the soundtrack.
Why not?
And
I mean,
music
if you have live action, that's a step below that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be more difficult than live action, I suppose. But the amount of CGI, really, with the amount of CGI. I guess animation.
With animation, I'm sure it would
really
be.
Okay.
If the entire movie is animated, I would like to think so. I could be wrong.
I thought the CGI was very expensive.
Then again, if you have freaking what's his name, Will Smith in there, I'm sure a lot of that budget went.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's just some.
Yeah, I wonder if they would have to pay the actors too that did the voice work. Probably, you would assume.
Yeah, maybe they'd try it. It just wouldn't be the same. I think Aladdin still holds up. Today.
I think Aladdin's great.
It looks great.
I think two, not so much animation wise, because then you're starting to.
I'm talking about one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Like one's great, but two, you start seeing like. And I know we talked about like Anastasia, how it was like animated poorly.
Yeah.
Some of that like perspective stuff was pretty off.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch Aladdin and then go into the sequel. That would just be rough. Yeah. But I am glad I watched 3.
Well, you gotta think, dude. I was watching 2 before 3 was out. So to me, it was like Aladdin was my favorite Disney movie, and the sequel was just like, here's the next installment, and it was awesome.
Dude, and you're a kid, and it's like I get more of what I love. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
Sure.
I'm a jaded adult watching this, TV animation studio try to do a sequel to the best Disney princess movie.
Yeah. Okay, so you watched Aladdin. Yep. I know you made fun of me last week. I actually did finish Shutter Island.
Oh shit! I forgot we had to talk about this.
I know.
I'm very.
I know. It won't be long.
Real quick. Sorry. I took a little longer, but there's a lot to unpack with those.
Absolutely, you went through 2 movies. Sure.
Yeah. All right, hit me.
9 out of 10.
Yes, sir. Fuck yes.
It was awesome. It was very, very good.
Don't you just want to watch it again?
No.
Never again?
I don't think so.
You have to watch it.
Well, I mean, sometimes I will, but like,
maybe not immediately. Maybe not immediately.
So here's the only thing.
Okay.
I think between you, Kyle, Chelsea, whatever, like I think I was set up to be too hyper vigilant.
Yep, absolutely. Chelsea was telling me this yesterday. She's like, "You got to stop fucking talking about this because he's going to be his expectations are through the roof." And I was like, "Dude,
well, no. My expectation, like, it wasn't the expectation part of it.
Yeah, but
I was like, okay, it's going to be an older movie, and I watched on my OLED. I was like, it looks great.
Yeah.
But the thing was, every little thing I was way over analyzing, which I think took away from the end part. So like from the very, very beginning, whenever he was like, "Oh, I thought I misplaced my cigarettes," I'm like, "I bet that means something." So then every time I'm looking at the freaking cigarettes, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Oh, he's giving another one. Oh, he's giving that." So like stuff like that, I was like, I kind of checked, but like it was kind of funny in the one scene when they were like interrogating some of the prisoners and things like that. There was one lady who like writes on his book like "Run" or something like that. Whenever Mark Ruffalo gets her a glass of water, in it she's drinking, but she's just doing the motion. And I guess the camera panned down just a little bit, and she was actually not drinking anything.
No.
And I was like, "Oh, I bet that means something."
Yeah.
It doesn't. They just screwed up. But like that's how overly sensitive I was.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I see that, and that's. Dude, it's in my top 10. Like I'm just gonna gush about it. Like that's just what I do. So I apologize if that detracted from the.
I would have to really sit down and write a list up again, but it very well could break into my top 10. That's how much I enjoyed it.
But the second viewing experience, and spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't watched it, obviously, it's just like you just start noticing it's a totally different movie, and that's what I love about it. You can watch it twice, and he shows up for the first time on the island, and all the officers are laughing at him.
Mm-hmm.
And if the first time you watch it, you're like, oh, they're just joking
and they have
around.
like the guns and they're kind of little on edge and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now and when he's talking to the board of directors or whatever who run the island, they're laughing at him, right? Like I think he makes some jokes, and the first time you're watching it is like they're laughing with him, but the second time they're laughing at him. They're laughing at the other guy who thinks this experiment's going to work.
Yeah.
You start noticing these things. Your perspective completely shifts, and they do a fantastic job of, oh, now I see it. When the first time
I might take it back then. Now you've started.
I'm telling you, a second watch is just as good as the first one because it's a different experience.
Is there any type of there's no debate, right? Like the way we saw it at the end is just like, no, this is real. Like he actually like killed his wife and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Again, spoilers. Sorry, guys.
The debate is, did the experiment work? Did he realize that he's crazy?
Okay, but it's not.
Are
they gaslighting him and he gives up because he's like, well, I can't get out of this.
The way I understand it, maybe I'm wrong on this. The way I always understood it is the divide, I guess, if you will, is whether the experiment worked, and if he chose to be what's it called,
like lobotomized.
Yeah. If he chose to be lobotomized because he can't overcome his demons, or because he actually thinks he's still a
because that's why he was talking to Mark Ruffalo at the end.
Yeah.
And then he just gets up and is like, all right, I'm ready. Like
I am in the
camp. Because he says that one line of being like a good man versus
I am in the camp that it worked, but he doesn't want to live with himself.
Right.
So he'd rather.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I was just curious because I took it all at face value.
Yes,
I'm like, hey, that's a great twist. Yep, that's him. This is all everything that happened canonically.
I think
Ben Kingsley, I had no idea he was in there.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Right.
Super excited for that. Yeah.
But how about Mark Ruffalo? What a great performance.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely such a different scope than you normally see him.
Again, being the hyper-vigilant, I'm like, oh, you just met this guy?
Yeah.
I think that was awesome. I thought it was.
Well, I'm really glad you liked it.
I feel kind of bad because that is, as much as I love Aladdin, that is so much better of a homework assignment than Aladdin was.
No, so I like that. I think I'm really glad I saw 3. Like I'm glad before I died, I saw Aladdin King of Thieves because that's sweet.
It's so good.
Aladdin's dad is so cool, man.
So I was thinking about stuff. So do you have a movie or something for me to watch?
Yes, always. But what are you in the mood for? Because I can give you a couple different things. Like if you're in the mood for anher heavy hitter, I can definitely.
Yeah, I anything.
You want to think again?
I
got something.
Like on your, I don't know necessarily. I mean, thinking's fine, but like I want something like on your top list or movies that you think that I have to see.
Yeah. Well, Shutter Island was in my top 5, I believe. Let me just pull up my list right here. I believe it's number 4, but I want to double check here. It's 5. So it's 5 out of 10 in my top 10 list, right? So it was a must watch for me. So
for sure.
I think you've seen most of my top 10.
You want to run it through real quick?
Yeah. You've seen The Departed.
Yep.
You've seen Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
You've seen 7.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I finished 7. I think I started 7 and it was like, I just wasn't hitting.
Okay. Well,
That's with Jim Carrey, right?
No, that's with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, right?
What's Jim? Oh, Jim Carrey's 13. We talked about this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did not see 7 at all then.
Must watch. Pulp Fiction, Shutter Island. You just watched. Django Unchained. You've seen.
Yep.
Saving Private Ryan. I think you may have watched that one time.
One or twice. Yeah.
Inglourious Basterds and Godfather.
Okay. So 7 would be the next one.
7 would be the next one if we're going with the top 10.
Well, see, now I feel bad because so the one I thought for you, which I'm sure, how do you feel about Bill Murray?
Bill, he's good.
He's good?
Yeah.
What's the movie?
What's the movie?
The Man Who Knew Too Little.
What's it called?
The Man Who Knew Too Little. I've probably talked about it to you before.
When did it come out?
It was on VHS. That was the last time I saw it.
Is it a comedy or?
It's a comedy.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So
man, I'm down. I'm totally down.
It's based off a movie. I think it's called Catch That Man or something along those lines with Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
So this movie is Bill Murray, has a brother who lives in England.
Yep.
And Bill Murray comes in, and his brother doesn't want to, or it might be his brother-in-law or whatever.
Okay.
He doesn't want to have to deal with him. So he's like, oh, hey, you know what? I'll sign him up for this like reality TV show or something.
Okay.
And he signs him up, and it's like this gotcha TV show.
Right.
The funny thing is, Bill Murray, knowing that it's like a TV show or whatever, thinks he's in a TV show this entire time. But the payphone that he's supposed to get a call from is actually from like a secret spy organization or something like that.
Oh, no.
So Bill Murray's going through this entire movie thinking he's just in a reality show, while everyone around him is literally like trying to kill him, thinks he's a master spy, all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
It's like, why is this American spy in England?
Yeah, good premise.
It's
really good. Okay. I'm down, man.
Does it hold up? I don't know, but I would love to get your take on it.
I am the man who determines if it holds up.
To be fair, I probably shouldn't have even told you any of that and just be like, just watch it.
Yeah, probably. I have a tendency of doing that too. But I love the premise.
Trailer.
That's a great
thing.
That's fair game.
Yeah.
The premise is great, so I will give that a watch. I think you should give 7 a watch.
I will watch 7. Cool.
Just looking if there's anything else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. I'm sure you've seen most of it, but 7 is one of the best movie-going experiences I've ever had. I watched it on Netflix.
Is it like psychological thriller type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a detective. He pretty much goes to Chicago, for lack of better words. And then
tell you what, don't even tell me anything about it for this one, if that's cool.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's a detective.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
There you go.
I'm like the more I think about it, the more
I can't believe you don't know. Never mind.
Because, I thought 7 was 13, so I literally have no...
So you don't know anything about this
I've
movie?
never seen it at all. No.
I'm curious what you think when you... Okay.
I want to go in.
If you actually know nothing about this movie...
I know nothing about this movie.
Holy shit.
Nothing.
If you know nothing about this movie, I'm very excited.
Okay. Well, as of right now, me hearing 7, even who's in it, I have no...
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, that's the team. So
I got nothing.
There you go.
And I love both of them, so...
Jesus, dude.
I know.
Wow.
And then
all right, man.
Footloose right after that.
Footloose. So you finished Marvel. Okay, we got our assignments. What about TV show? What's next on the docket for you for TV shows? Or do you just do movies? Like what do you usually do?
That's a good question, actually. Right now it's just movies. Like we've been flying through Marvel.
Let me know when you have time for another.
Well, go ahead and hit me with the TV show. What anime am I going for?
Well, it really depends. Like what
I was going to do Fullmetal Alchemist. I know we're running over, so I don't want to be.
You can do that. I think you should do something. If you're in a thinking man's mood,
okay.
Tell you what, why don't you give this one a try? And I'm very curious. I don't know if you'll like it. I knew you'd love One Punch Man. I knew that.
Yes.
I knew
that is the one to beat. So you got to keep that in the back of your
knew
head.
You would. I was hoping you would like Cowboy Bebop. I wasn't sure, but I knew you'd like One Punch Man.
Yeah.
This one, it's a coin flip. I have no fucking idea. You might just hate this, and I apologize, but it's very good. It's called Steins Gate.
Okay.
It's a time travel one.
All right.
That's all I'll say.
I like time travel.
The only thing you have to promise me is you have to finish it.
How many episodes are there?
23.
Done. That's fine. So I think that is a gauge for me. Is if I can go in, it's not a huge commitment. Because I mean, just think,
this is why I want to give you this.
Marvel movies.
Full Metal.
Yeah.
Is 64.
Yeah.
And I think to get the best watch experience, you have to do a little Jenga with watching the first original one and then going to the other one.
Sure.
So I want to get you on board before we do that project.
Okay.
And I don't think you're there yet. I think you'll drop it.
You need to.
Yeah,
I'm like a baby. I'm a baby deer. You need to.
We need to go one step. This is the problem with Nate. He wants to. Oh, this is my favorite. Here you go. You got a little finagle him a little bit here.
You need to
rope him in.
Bribe me in. Okay.
Let me check. I'm just checking right now to see exactly how many episodes in. I believe it's 20 something.
Where would I see this? Is this like a Hulu joint?
Oh, I'd have to. I'll let you know after the show. It's 24.
24 episodes. Okay.
You have to promise me you'll finish it.
I will finish it.
You can't drop it. Okay.
Okay.
You're locked in.
All right.
Because
are these hour-long episodes?
No,
or 30
no,
minutes?
no. Like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Like 20 some minutes.
I could do that. I'm not going to say I'm finishing it by next week.
I think it's on Hulu. No. You won't. Just don't drop it. Just get through it.
All right. I mean,
time travel. That's all I'm telling you.
Episode 14 locked in. I will watch 7 first.
Yep.
Because I feel like that's
it's 2 hours. Yep.
And then you said Steins Gate.
I'll send you the deets.
All right.
It's called Steins Gate.
Done.
I'm not telling you anything about it.
Dude, I'd get a Crunchyroll subscription for.
I think it's on Hulu.
I think
it's on Hulu.
That's fine.
You have Hulu, right?
Yeah, we're canceling Disney Plus as soon as we're done with Endgame.
That makes sense.
So because our free year, whatever, with Fios is up at the end of this month, so I'm nixing it.
Is that why you did the project?
No, we did the project because we watched the TV shows and I actually liked them way more. I'm like, I kind of want to go back and see these. Yeah. Had I known that Chelsea just watched all
Tell
these,
you what, if I can find the time, I'll start chipping away at those, and one of these episodes we'll do a top 5 Marvel.
Yeah, I have a list, and I have kind of like some notes and things like that. So
I don't want you to tell me.
No, I'm not.
I don't want you to tell me. I want to, and I'll make mine, and then we'll see what the overlap is.
Yeah, at some point, top 5 Marvel.
And then we'll rumble.
Movies.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All
right, man. I think that does it for us.
This was a no-breaker.
No-breaker.
2 hours exactly.
We talked about 90 minutes. We'll get right through it, and here we are again. We can't do it, but
that's fine.
Thank you so much for everyone who's watching. Obviously anyone who's sending in suggestions, we always appreciate that. But that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you joining. You can find us at couchcompany.games, and that'll lead you to anything.
Everything
and anything.
Our top 5 lists, our podcast, which you obviously have. Yep. So thanks for listening. Our Twitter feed, our Twitch feed. All kinds of
Twitch
stuff.
is now Couch Co.
So we switched everything
Twitch?
to Couch Co Games.
Yep.
So that's our Twitter. That's Twitch.
Yep.
We're keeping it.
Yeah.
consistent.
So it's Couch Co Games, no longer on mine. So we have a dedicated Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So
we're
playing through Pyre
right now. Yeah, we'll get
awesome.
your thoughts on it on the next one.
It's awesome, and apparently I'm coming up to the really good part. So
however awesome you think it is,
I know.
It's gonna get.
I can't wait, dude. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us. As always, thanks for joining us on the couch, and we will see you next week. Peace.